I stood my ground in every fight. Told them once and told them twice. Guess it took the burn to open eyes. They advocated for the wrong side, ignored the truth that I could not hide. Now they're stranded in the desert dry, chasing shadows with a desperate sigh. I hate to say I told you so, but the fire's out and the ashes glow. The fools who mocked me get the show. Truth's the only thing that grows. They fought me hard, pushed me away. Now their blind faith led them astray. Promises shattered, lies on display. They've learned a hard lesson today. Now they're turning back on broken dreams, wandering lost in twisted schemes. The truth they shunned is loud and screams. Nightmares are never what they seem. I hate to say I told you so, but the fire's out and the ashes glow. The fools who mocked me get the show. Truth the only thing that grows. Now they're turning back on broken dreams, wandering lost in twisted schemes. They said I wouldn't make it, they laughed at my dream. Every move I made felt like swimming upstream. But yesterday I met a fan, eyes full of belief. In their gaze I saw the end to my grief.
Doubt didn't win, trust began. Looked in the mirror, saw my biggest fan. Heart beats like a drum, fight through the span. Kept on pushing, now I'm the man.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I saw myself alive. I put in all the hours, climbed out from the dirt. They dissed and dismissed, said I'd always get hurt. Met a fan so loyal, reflections don't lie. My biggest supporter is just me in my mind.
Through the noise and shadows I held my ground. Bumps, bruises, broken, no comfort found. But that fan smile turned my world around. Now I'm rising sky high above the sound.
Doubt didn't win and trust I began. When I looked in the mirror, saw my biggest fan. Heart beats like a drum, fight through the span. Kept on pushing, now I'm the man.
From the ashes I flew, they can't dim my flame. Every mocking voice only fed my aim. Yesterday showed me it's not just a game, 'cause in my reflection I found my name.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I'm the man.
From the ashes I flew, they can't dim my flame. Every mocking voice only fed my aim. Yesterday showed me it's not just a game, 'cause in my reflection I found my name.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I'm the man.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone doing out there today? Hopefully you are doing well. Hopefully your week is going well. It's Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. We are just about 3 days from February. It's like January just started. Well, there are no more Happy New Year's being said because we're just about in February. So, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you are doing well. I am Tech Coach Ralph. We are engineered to win. Let me check something real quick. Do you hear a buzzing sound in the background? There is some animal outside that's just buzzing like crazy, and I have the headphones on, so I can't really hear it, but let me know if you can hear it. I'll see if I can do something. I don't know what I could do about it, but there's an animal like right outside on the other side of the wall, buzzing like crazy. I don't know what to do about it, but let me know if you hear it. Let me know if it's bothering you. And I don't know if I can reduce the, I have no idea what I can actually do about that, right? But we're here. We don't miss. We have a lot of work to do. So welcome. This is Tech Q&A. The link to call in is pinned to the top of the chat. Let me go ahead and turn on the call in link as well. Before I forget again, let's go to boom and boom. All right. The link is open in case anybody wants to call in. It's pinned to the top of the chat. It's in the description. All that good stuff. If you have tech questions, career questions, feel free to call in. All right. So let's get into our agenda. We have some good topics to cover tonight. Let's get into our agenda, and we're going to run it up. All right. So first and foremost, let's start off with saying a big thank you to all of the new subscribers. We are over 2,000 subscribers, but guess what? 2,000 is just a number. We're just working. We're just working, regardless if it's 2,000, 10,000, 50,000, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna work because that's what we do here. We work. We get better every single day. But thank you so much to all the new subscribers and all the old subscribers who have been with me for a very long time. Thank you for allowing me to add just a little bit of value into your lives.
I appreciate you.
And shout out to my tech barbarians out there, my tech prodigy, my technical explorers, all of the free members of the Patreon. Thank you so much for all the value that you bring and for the support that you give me. And shout out to the tech mercenaries as well. Those are the YouTube members that keep the channel going. Shout out to you all. We are all the best.
We the best.
All right. So let's jump into what is our upcoming shows, right? So tomorrow morning, we're going to be going live. We're going to be continuing working on our large language model course. Yesterday, I slightly pivoted. I said, you know what? I got so annoyed of having to, I spent like maybe 4 hours on Sunday afternoon after the show, putting together my descriptions and my thumbnails and keywords and all that stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm annoyed. I'm going to start working on building out the content creation workflow yesterday. So we did that. Going to continue it tomorrow, building out working on the title, working on the, prompting that the way that I want it, the keywords, and we'll go from there. Because if I can save a little bit of time and, and like be able to take a Saturday afternoon off to hang out with some friends and not come back on Sunday and be like, oh, I have so much to do, I don't know what to do. I'm going to prioritize that as opposed to jumping into Claude and all those other providers. Because once we're done with a good, once I get a good spot in this, then we're going to jump into all those providers, right? So the show doesn't stop. All right, and then we're going to be tomorrow. We're going to be premiering a software explorations about the concepts of the 3 dimensions of large language models. So that's going to be at noon Eastern time tomorrow. So tune in for that. So tomorrow morning show live 7:30 a.m. Noon, we're going to have the premiere of of the 3 dimensions of large language models. I'm gonna break that down, and then Thursday night we're going to be going live with ethical hacking, where we're going to be continuing with the reconnaissance, the information gathering phase, where we are. I think we did last time. We did ping, we did NS lookup, and we did who is. We're going to be jumping into what web, I believe it's called, this coming Thursday. So join us for ethical hacking as well, for penetration testing. So much good stuff. All right. All right, so that is pretty much our upcoming shows. We have 2 upcoming live shows, and we have the software expressions tomorrow at noon. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there for all of these shows. Okay, I will be in the chat tomorrow at noon with you guys. All right. So, anything else before we jump into it? I think that is it. So, with that being said, I'm going to check the chat to see who we have in the building already. So. We have my guy, MeMySify, in the building. Says, good evening. Hope all is well. I hope you are doing well too, MeMySify. Thank you so and MeMySify, thank you so much. I was watching so yesterday, or was it today? Whenever it was that I commented on your video, I just posted saying, I commented saying, I'm happy to see you put out new content. I just kept on I posted that as soon as I jumped into the video, and then I'm just watching it, and then I heard you shouting me. I'm like, oh man, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it, MeMySify. Thank you so much. And MeMySify says, see, I made it before your car. And Mitch, good evening, everyone. There you go. Let me see. We got my guy Prince Marky D in the building. Says, feels like Friday already. Been working so hard. Well, Prince Marky D, you know what they say. Hard work is good work. And we got MB in the building. What's up, MB? How are you doing? Great content you got coming out. I know it's going to just get 100 times better, but keep putting it out. And you're going to grow, you're going to skyrocket. So keep up the good work. Really appreciate you learning the cybersecurity, going to WGU. I keep finding more and more people who went to WGU, Western Governors University. And from what I hear, they've had pretty good experiences with it. So shout out to that. And, just keep up the great work, all right? Who else? Oh my goodness. We got Roxy in the building. Rock the Scrubs, Roxy. How are you doing, Roxy? Roxy says, good evening, TCR and chat. Good evening to you as well, Roxy. Hopefully you are doing well. Oh my God, we got my guy DB Daryl in the building. What's up, DB Daryl? So happy to see you here. And we got wait. This is the one. Hold up. We got this one. Got my guy Magnetar in the building. What's up, Magnetar? King Snitcher in the flesh himself. Hopefully you are doing well. And MB says, appreciate you and all of your advice. It is my pleasure to help fellow content creators. Look, I had to figure out a lot of stuff the past year and a half, and I'm more than happy to share it with you, especially those in the tech space, because I want to see you guys make great content, because there is not enough of this tech content to show how it really is. It's like a lot of fluff trying to get you to buy something, but I show the real things that we go through, and I see you showing it as well based on like how you're learning and the labs that you're doing. Really good stuff, right? So it is totally my pleasure to help you out whenever I can. All right. Okay. So oh my God. One more. We got Night Jade in the building. What's up, Night Jade? Always a pleasure to have you here. And Magnetar says he's about to snitch. Don't do it, Magnetar. Don't do it. Don't do it. You cannot go away for 10 minutes, Magnetar. You cannot go away for 10 minutes. All right. You can't make it happen. It says, I'll tell you it was as soon as I'm done. All right. All right. Before Magnetar gets to snitching, let's get to our first question of the night. We have about 8 questions. Unless somebody asks a question in the chat or somebody calls in, then we'll do what we do, right? We'll navigate, we'll pivot, all that good stuff. But I want to get out here about like 9:30, 9:45-ish. So let's try to get through these questions. And as always, let's have some fun. All right. Let's go to our first question of the night. Let me switch over to the other screen for our questions. Hopefully it works well. Yep, we're there. And the first question of the night.
Another one.
So. This question actually is right up my guy Magnetar's lane. It says, I saw my coworker jogging after they had called in sick. Should I tell my boss? Wowzers. Well, let's answer this question. Let's answer this question, right? I am of the belief that you should just probably mind your own business. All right. You are not the boss. They did not call, they didn't call you to tell you that they were sick and they needed time off. They called your boss, right? And if they called your boss for that, then that should be an issue that if your boss catches them and they want to correct them, then by all means let that happen. But it is not your job or your duty to be the king snitcher of your coworkers doing something they shouldn't do. If somebody is doing something wrong, then the people who are in charge, who have let it fester up itself, right? You don't have to go around saying being the hall monitor. If you guys remember in elementary school, when people would be running in the hallway, and then the hall monitor just steps out of nowhere, it's like, stop, go back and walk. They used to get on my nerves, right? They used to get on my nerves. Honestly, it was a little bit of jealousy because I wanted to be a hall monitor. And I was never picked. I didn't know what you had to do to get picked to be a hall monitor, right? I digress. I don't think it is your job to go snitching on your coworker. Let them get caught, because guess what? They will eventually mess up, get caught, and the proper authorities will deal with them that way. But why do you want to get involved in the middle of that dispute, right? And how do you know, you never went on a jog while you were sick before? I mean, I haven't myself, but you don't know. What if your coworker was David Goggins, right? Although David Goggins probably wouldn't call in sick, but he would probably be jogging. Wow. Bad example. All right, scratch that example. Bad example. David Goggins would not call in sick, and he would probably be jogging while working. So I take it back. But the point is, it is not your job to go snitching on your coworkers. If what the coworker is doing impacts you directly, then you can say that. You can probably talk to your coworker, or you can say that, hey, my job is being impacted by this. But you don't have to say, oh, and by the way, I caught my coworker jogging when he was supposed to be sick. Did you take a picture? Are you that type of person? So that's why for me, I'm like, when I see things that I don't necessarily like that's happening, I stay in my lane, and I'm like, hey, hopefully you get caught, or hopefully you get a come to Jesus moment and do the right thing with that. And by coming to Jesus, you guys should go check out the Nourishing Word, by the way, right? My guy Rod Brown with 1D, awesome content creator. And maybe you should recommend that channel to your coworker, because maybe they won't be, skipping out work to say that they're sick and then they're jogging, Many different things but you can do, but I don't think it is your job. It is not your job to go outing your coworker, especially if you're not impacted directly. It's just, for me, it's not good practice, right? Now, you might want to say, hey, I saw you jogging, and look to your neighbor and says, that ain't right. But me personally, I just don't care that much. What people do with between the boss and themselves, I try not to get involved. I try to just mind my own business, not my problem, until it is my problem. Now I have to do tons of more work because you're not doing your work, right? And because you're out jogging because you're sick and you're not sick and all that. Now we have to have a conversation, right? Because I don't want to have to take on the whole world's work. You know what I mean? So that's my thought. I would not get involved if my coworker called in sick and I saw them out jogging. I would be like, you know what? I don't even know if that's really my coworker because I have no idea. And if you're working, right? All right, hold on. One more point. If you're working and your coworker's out jogging, what are you doing at the time? I just thought about that right now. Like, how did you catch your coworker jogging when they called out sick if you're not out at the park as well? Or is your coworker like running? Is there like a jogging pathway in front of your house or something like that? Like, I don't know. I just find that just, you know what? Let me stop thinking. Let me end this question before I get you in trouble as well. Let's wrap that one up. All right. Because of this question, I'm gonna check the chat. I gotta check the chat because of this question because, I think this might be a good one. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's see what's going on over here. All right, so we have, and Nijay says that she didn't get a notification. You didn't get a notification? Oh my goodness, I don't know what is going on with YouTube nowadays. And says Magnetar says, who sent that one in? I don't know, Max. I don't know. And we got my best friend who just showed up in the building. Says it just gets to a point.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
I feel the same way, Mitch. I feel exactly how you feel. It just gets to a point, right? And you just have to come in here and says, you know what? That guy, Tech Coach Roth, he is my best friend, and he is the most amazing content creator on the interwebs. Thank you so much, Mitch. Appreciate it. And Mitch says, let me find out you telling on me. You catch it. I can't even get it out. I can't even get it out. You know what? It says, you are catching these hands of love.
Yo, my boy Mitch, we don't always see eye to eye, but in the real life.
Tell me, Mitch, don't make me bring it back, Mitch. Do not make me bring that song back because, I can just listen to that song on repeat all day. All right. Let me see. Night Jade says, I sent you a link that was shared in the Chaser chat. It's about President Trump buying out FTE contracts. What? I don't even know what FTE contracts are. Full-time employment contracts. Oh, okay. We'll have to check. You know what? We're gonna review that on Saturday morning during our weekly economic review show because that sounds like it's going to fit well in there. And Magnetar says that is between them, the supervisor, and that I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And says I think he is going to be going fully contract to save the U.S. money. You don't have to pay retirement and benefits to contractors. Oof, see, look, I'm not talking about the federal employees, especially when Magnetar is here, because Magnetar will call in and he will tell me he's gonna break down everything about the federal government and the contracts and stuff like that. And we don't have that type of time on this show for it. So we're going to have a special thing with Magnetar where he's going to break all of this down because I want to hear Magnetar's, like, we see Magnetar's perspective in the chat about this whole remote thing, but I want to hear it. So I'll set something up with Magnetar and we'll figure it out, right? And Roxy says, mind your own damn business. Right, she didn't say damn, but I felt the damn in there, right? And Nadia says, I'm not ratting anybody out. Not my business because they aren't my employee. Exactly. Now, if I end up with your work, I better get free lunch or I am going to be not the king snitcher, but the queen snitcher. Fair enough. Fair enough. I agree with you, Nightjade. I agree. McIntyre's like, you ain't joking. I ain't joking. I got you. I got you. Roxy reiterates. Reiterates, mind your own business. I think Roxy is very passionate about this. Saw them on Rink. Saw them running by on Ring Cam. Magdalene says it could be a drone. It could be a drone sighting. Yeah, yeah. That is true. And we have. And Mitch says favorite content creator. Not you. Not even top 30. Out of here. Well, Mitch, tell me how you really feel. Tell me how you really feel, Mitch. Let's see. Let's see. Says, Magnetar's like, nope. He's not even gonna fight anymore. He's like, y'all got it. I got you, Magnetar. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's get to our second question. All right. Let's get to our second question. Let me go over to here and let's get that off. All right, let's get to our next question of the night.
Another one.
Should I learn C to gain a stronger grasp of coding as QA quality assurance? All right, it says, the level of coding I possess as a QA is more than enough to confidently and skillfully script even the most difficult test case logic. In addition to fully grasping Java fundamentals, I utilize Java streams to optimize my code. Furthermore, I use Java collection interfaces to script in my script with no issues, lists, sets, and maps, along with their respective classes such as ArrayList, HashSet, HashMap, etc. Despite this, I sometimes feel that my logic isn't solid enough when solving programming questions unrelated to automation. These questions are not necessarily very difficult, but are not trivial either. This issue often becomes apparent during interviews. I believe it stems from not building a strong foundation in programming fundamentals before delving into specific languages such as Java or Python. While I understand that practice is essential, I feel it won't help me achieve a deeper, more fundamental understanding of coding. I've been learning that C can help achieve this. What's your opinion and experience? All right, well, I'll say this, right? I don't think necessarily that learning C is going to help you in QA in particular. But I do think that it will help you in programming overall. Like unless you're building some type of complicated framework that does a whole bunch of stuff, right? I don't think QA automation is that complex to do. You still have to have your right organization. You need to have a clean code and stuff like that. But I don't think it goes to the level of needing, like, as a QA person, that you need C programming to gain a grasp or to gain a stronger grasp of coding. Will it help? Definitely. Like, I think any coding language that you learn, that you add to your repertoire. Where's the Wellspring Journey when I need them? I just said repertoire. I don't think I've ever used that word before, right? But any coding language you can add to your repertoire, I think it's going to help you. It's going to have you see things differently. You're going to get stronger, more confident in your coding. You're going to say, okay, and it's going to help you make better decisions in what languages you use to program, because not everything needs to be done in Java. Not everything needs to be done in Python. Not everything needs to be done in TypeScript and JavaScript. Not everything needs to be done in C. Not everything needs to be done in Ruby. I think it is helpful that you get a better understanding, a better grasp of other languages, and that way you can find ways to more efficiently do things. I think that is one of the key things about knowing other languages, and that's why here on this channel we explore so many different languages, different realms, or I don't know the word to use, but like we explore DevOps, we explore ethical hacking, we explore large language models, finding like, because when you continuously learn, your critical thinking skills get better and better and better, right? I I've seen people who they just expand out a little bit more, and they start to grasp different, like they might have never coded before in their lives, right? And they start to be able to write code, to write code, to understand the concepts, and even if it's at the very early beginning, it's something that you did that you never done before, right? So your mind starts to expand, your mind starts to open. So to your question in particular, I don't think it's going to help as a QA in particular. It might help you maybe if you're in a software development engineer in test, possibly, but it's not going to help as like your day-to-day QA operations, still very important. Like I still think it's a good idea to learn it. But not only C, I think C is probably one of the initial type languages. Like, when you go to college, computer science, a lot of times they have you learn C. I think now they might have to start learning Java, but it's not a like I said, I don't think it has anything to do with QA in particular. So that's my thoughts on it, right? Good to learn. Is it necessary for QA? Not so much. Can help as that, but I don't think you need it. I think from what you described that you do, I think it is way more than enough. All right. All right. So let's wrap that question up right now. And let's go to boom. All right. Let me go. Let's just jump to the next question, and then I will jump to the chat and see what we got going on in there. All right. So, all right. So let's go to the next one.
Another one.
All right. So this question says, should I give a 2-week notice or should I tell my boss to go himself? Wow. Whoa. Who put that question up? Who put that question up? All right. So let's see what's going on. Let's see. So I was hired as a regional sales manager of a company back in October. $90,000 base salary plus 5% commission on all sales. My team quota for the year is $1.8 million. So that's an additional 90K to bring the total OTE to 180K. Welp, 2 months later, that does, like when a sentence starts with welp, it's not a good thing, right? The company got bought out and the new company changed my salary to 60K. Whoa, what the? And 0.5% commission. The quota though is the same.
Bruh.
So that brings my OTE all the way down to 69K. I'm telling you, my heart just sunk. Right? So from 90K plus another 90K in commission down to, so you're at a total of 180K down to 69K. Wow. Wowzers. All right. So there's there's other little bonuses they throw in if the requirements are met. It'll add an additional 15K. So that's a potential of 84K. Looks like you are about almost 100K short, about 96K short, right? When I expressed my concern and frustration that I would have never accepted the job for this amount of money, the VP told me that I was being very dramatic. You know what? They about to see dramatic. All right? They did this to all the sales managers. Before you say, it sounds like they're trying to get people to quit. 2 managers did quit and then essentially dropped to their knees and offered them a ton of money to stay. Thankfully, both managers still quit regardless. I'm fortunate enough that I was able to find a new job that pays significantly higher very quickly. So my question is, should I give these the courtesy of a 2-week notice, or should I tell them to just go and themselves? Well, I don't think we need 5 minutes for this one, but we'll throw it on the clock, right? So I'm going to say that if they actually took your pay down from 90K to 60K, right? From 90K to 60K, right? I'm just saying right there. That is a big no-no already. And if they took your commission pay from another 90K to about 9K, that is another big no-no. Right? So, what do I think you should do? I definitely do not think that you should tell your boss to go himself, right? I don't think you should do that, right? That is not what I would recommend. That is not wise. I believe in always being professional, right? Should always be professional. But a 2-week notice, well, here's the thing, right? When you're in sales, I don't think they really care about 2-week notices like that. Now, they might say, you know what? We don't want you to go. We're going to reinstate that 180K for you, right? Probably not. But I don't think that you need to give a 2-week notice, because guess what? Especially in this case, if they were going to fire you or lay you off, right? You would get a 1-minute notice. All right. In general, I'm in favor of being professional, giving I don't like 2-week notices, but I still believe that you should give them. But in this case, when they pretty much took you outside and beat you like you stole something, right? Then I would like, all right, look, I'm not going to be working here anymore, right? With all due respect, right? All right, forget it. Forget the all due respect, right? No need for all due respect. But I will say that you just tell them you're not coming back anymore, right? Say, you know what? I found another job. You guys got this one. Have a nice life. Because what's the real reason that people put 2-week notices in, right? Because they want to burn bridges, right? They don't want to burn bridges. But like I said before, some bridges are meant to be burned. This one is a good bridge to be burned because they're playing with your money, right? I don't even know why you're still there. Like, if for them to drastically reduce your pay that way, like what gives? So I say that you should cut ties. Don't go cursing anybody out. Be professional, but be professionally out of the building. Like, all right, cool. Well, here's my badge. Here's my computer. I'm out. You guys have a very, very nice life. Thank you for the opportunity, but no thank you. Go about your business. That's how I see it. I don't think we need to be rude and having people try to catch these hands like my guy Mitch would say. That's not necessary. Just kill them with silence and kindness. All right. So just go about your business. That's my thought on it. I don't think it needs to go to that level of cursing people out and stuff like that. Just you can say it in your head. Say it in your head. Say how you feel in your head, but be professional. But leave. Right. 2 weeks. What is a 2-week notice going to do at the end of the day? Right. Are you going to be transferring all your account? Go and take a week off. Go and enjoy a week vacation before you start this new job where it's going to give you the bag.
Money.
All right. That's my thoughts. That is my thoughts. What would you do? Would you guys give your if they cut your pay by pretty much $96,000? Would you give a 2-week notice, or would you be like, I'm out? Would you even give a notice? Would you just not show back up? That's another option. Would you just not show back up if they cut your pay by almost $100,000? And it's like, but we really need you though. And they said that you are being dramatic. You know what? I have a question.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
How dare you? Like, how dare you cut my pay and then call me dramatic? because of that, you even get one of these.
How dare you?
Not cool. So I'm like, I'm out. I'm not dealing with this. Now I have to be, because then for 2 weeks, they're going to be harassing you, trying to get you to stay after they done totally disrespected you, right? So I'm like, I'm not staying for this. I don't have time for this. I am going home. All right. That's my thoughts. Let's wrap that question up. All right, let me go and check what we got going on in the chat. Let me see. Where's my chat? All right, there goes the chat. Let's see. We have let's see. Magnetar said tonight, Jade, the person better at least let me know in case they need to return the favor one day. Let me see. Great. Was Night Jade feeling bad? Did I miss something? Let me see. Oh, picked up a head cold from a dinner. Oh, that sucks. Sorry to hear that, Night Jade. I didn't see that comment. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully you're feeling better. And some nice Ghirardelli caramel chocolate bar and a new tea diffuser. Shout out to your husband, Night Jade. Shout out to your husband. Let me see. Pampering certainly helps. Having a nerd husband has its perks. Ooh, you see, shout out to the nerds out there. Let's see. Magnetar says, give the 2-week notice, huh? Really? That's it. Why, Magnetar? Why would you give the 2-week notice? Let's see. It says, do your best not to leave on bad terms. I don't know about that, Magnetar. I don't know. I think they made the terms bad when they cut my pay by $96,000. Maybe $96,000. Maybe more. I don't know, Magnetar. I don't know about that one. It says, depending on the state, you don't need to give really? Oh, well. I didn't think a 2-week notice was actually required, though. I thought it was a courtesy. Maybe for the federal government it's different, but I always thought giving a 2-week notice was a courtesy. Because I remember like one job I left, I gave them like a week and a half notice. I'm like, I gotta go. But I didn't think 2-week notices were a requirement. I thought they were like a nice to have, you know. Let me see. Roxy says, always be professional. Okay. That's a good point. That's a good point, right? It says, if something ever comes up later on, you want to be able to say you are professional until the, oh my God, that means I have to stay. I don't know, Magnetar. I don't know. And Roxy says, pay goes up every year. Not down, except for this person. Except for this person, I'm telling you, he had it the hard way. And it says now, if you hit the lottery, it is a different story. Well, you know, there are exceptions, I guess. There are exceptions to the rule. All right, we got. All right, stop the show. We have my guy Rod Brown in the building, the host of the Nourishing Word himself is in the building. What's up, Rod Brown? How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. All right, I'm gonna tell you guys this, right? Don't tell Rod Brown that I told you, right? He started making reaction videos and they are absolutely amazing. Shout out to his, and I don't say this, right? I don't know who helped him with his OBS setup, but it is absolutely fire. I'm just saying. Go check out the Nourishing Word. Go check out the Nourishing Word, all right? Shout out to my guy, Rod Brown. Oh, Magnetar, you're just kidding. I thought even for the lotto, you're like, all right, we're out. What? Even, you know, Magnetar is Mr. Professional. So shout out to my guy, Magnetar. We got C. Marshall in the building. Says, are they offering stock options? Look, C. Marshall, shout out to C. Marshall, my guy. And I'll tell you this, C. Marshall has found bugs on my time cost calculator in iOS, and I truly, truly appreciate him. He's always the first one to reach out to me and say, hey, I found this issue, and I'm like, all right, let me get that fixed. So thank you so much, C. Marshall. But as far as the stock options, if you cut my pay by $100,000, right, I probably don't want your stock options. That's just me. I don't like people playing with me. You know what? I didn't want to do this. I did not want to do this, but I don't like people playing with my money, so I just gotta say this. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? What? Something. There we go. There we go. I don't like people playing with my money.
Where is my money? Tell me where. You wanna chit chat, but I don't care.
I don't care.
Can't be playing with my cash, no way.
Nope.
This disrespect can't be the play. Why you playing games with my cash? Owe me big, but you're acting rash. Said you pay me back today. Hey, now you're silent like it's all okay. Cash rules everything around me. Pay me what you owe, don't flee.
Pay me.
Dusty promises don't sue. Dusty promises. Gotta get straight to the loot. See you styling in your new threads.
I'm just saying, like, stock options, no. If you cut my pay by 100K, and then you want to say, but I got these stock options for you. Sorry, stock option Eddie, we're not doing that. All right. So that's just me. That is just me. That is just me. Let's see. Nigel says, when I left the job, I gave them a 2-week notice. My boss got mad because I got sick the last 2 days, wanted me to make those days up. What? That is a good one. Like, how are you supposed to get into the office? Like, I tell these bosses, sometimes they are so weird. Let me see. Night Jade says, downloading the app now. Shout out to you. And Rod Brown says that he is still nervous. Rod Brown, all I'm saying is put on your armor, because when you make a reaction video, there's a opposite point of view, and the opposite point of view, they will come at you. So just be ready. Just put on your armor. But you'll be fine. Rod Brown, don't worry about it. Right? But I'm just saying, when you do reactions to something, there is always an opposite point of view, and sometimes they can be fierce. All right? But you got this. Ross says, shout out to this guy named Ralph that helped me with my reaction setup. Shout out to that guy named Ralph. It's Magnus says, it's my money and I need it now. How soon do you need it? Now. All right. So it's fair. That's fair. And Roxy is dying at that song. You didn't see that one coming, right? Let's see. Really? I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. I apologize. All right. Well, with that mistake. Apologies. Let's jump into our next question. All right, well, let's talk about going off the rails. All right, let's get to our next question. All right, next up, we've got
Another one.
what's the end game for quality assurance? All right, so this one says, what is the ultimate evolution look like for a QA team in an organization? Testers have transitioned to automation skills and further into SDET roles. How do we outline the maturity of a QA team and tie it to a business ROI? All right. Uh, yeah, that's a good point, Magnetar. That's a good point. All right. So, what's the end game for QA? Let me put our timer up. So, I mean, honestly, Magnetar's right. Like you have to assure quality by pretty much any means necessary. You need to adapt to the changing environment, the changing organizations, the changing technologies. So I'll give you some examples, right? I've been in QA since 2009, and I've been in like the web based. I mean, they're all web based, but all right. So the first company I started QA, they had a technology where they would proxy websites and overlay translated content and images onto those websites, right? And that involved doing a lot of testing of websites, mobile websites, e-commerce platforms, like airlines, hotels, making sure their booking flows work, the checkout flows work, and a bunch of other stuff, right? And some huge clients as well. But then as we started getting more and more clients, we had to consistently check these websites because back in the days we would just do the work and then like, all right, now it's good to go. But as we got more important clients and more users, like if a site had an issue and we didn't catch it for a few days, or a customer called in or the client called in or something like that, that would be bad. So we had to move towards automation. So we were using this one clunky software, and then I was like, all right, well, we had to figure out a way to start doing mobile applications because at the time there wasn't that many, like 2009 to 2010, mobile websites, they existed, but they weren't as impactful as they are today. Right now everyone is using mobile. Now they have apps to do shopping, like Amazon apps and stuff like that. Walmart has an app. But back in the days, we were like, oh, we don't test mobile devices, right? We don't test mobile websites. That was what we used to say until we couldn't say that anymore because the customer's like, well, we have a mobile site. We want the mobile site translated. So I had to go and figure out, all right, how are we going to automate these mobile sites? Because these are high traffic sites. People in different, and these sites might have like 7 different languages that we translated in. So we had to find a way to actually test it. And then came in Selenium. I was like, all right, let me take Selenium. And we didn't have the options of AWS Device Farm. We didn't have Browser Stack. We didn't have Sauce Labs, all those different tools. So I'm like, all right, if we were to automate on mobile devices, it would cost us a lot of money. I was like, all right, cool. So I took the Selenium Selenium WebDriver, and I passed in a user agent, and I said make the browser size the size of this device, right? And we're able to simulate what a customer would be doing by going to a website on the user agent of the device, right? And that we're able to test it that way. And by switching to Selenium, we're able to test thousands of sites every single day, when before we didn't even test those sites, right? Because we're done, we push them out, and we hope for the best. Now let's fast forward to more into API testing, because before 2015, APIs weren't that big of a thing. They weren't testing them. Like no one even heard about that. And I was talking to recruiters like, do you know how to do API testing? I'm like, I don't even know what an API is. Turns out I did use APIs, but I didn't know the name of it. So we went from manual testing to web-based automation testing to now they're talking about API testing. And then as soon as I did my first API test, I'm like, there is no way in hell I'm going to be doing this manually over and over and over again. I looked up how do I automate APIs, found a repo in Java because that's what I was coding in at the time, and I built a whole framework to automate APIs. Move forward. So now it comes into like the whole DevOps thing and how QA relates to DevOps, setting up frameworks and setting up environments to run the test in, setting up testing environments to test branches on. So today now the industry I'm in video technology, right? Video encoding and decoding, stuff like that. So many totally different ballgame, but figuring out how to automate that. So the moral of this story is that there can never be an end game because QA will never end. There's always going to be QA. So as Magnetar said earlier, it's to assure quality. And how do you assure quality? Well, it depends on what is your organization building and how do you find a solution for it. We've been working on a project, right? A new project at work. And I was struggling to figure out what's the best way to automate it, right? But the issue was that like because there was not a good way to test it until I was like, you know what? We have another automation suite that is using that is like staging the content that we need, the testing data that we need. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to add it on to this, and then I can test all the stuff that I've been working on. And since I implemented it between since last week, I found like 3 different defects that we wouldn't have known about. So the evolution is whatever the evolution is going to be. At the right time, at the right place, you're going to need to pivot and you're going to have to learn new things and you're going to have to build new things. With AI coming into the factor nowadays, you're going to see, okay, how can I integrate AI? Maybe it's creating your own large language model. Tune in tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. as we continue working on that. By building your own large language model, that's going to maybe learn the context of the application, the documentation, so that you can describe an issue that you're having, and it does like 75% of the work for you, right? Maybe you can say, all right, this is a story. Can you generate some automation scenarios for me? And now you just have to actually write the code behind it. So like evolution doesn't stop, right? So there is no ultimate evolution because you adjust as needed when the right time comes, all right? So that is my thought. That is my answer. There is no end game. You've heard of continuous integration. You've heard of continuous deployment. You've heard of continuous delivery. This is just going to be continuous QA, continuous testing, all right? Let's wrap that question up. All right, let me get one more in there and then I'll go to the chat, all right? So, oh boy, this is going to be a tough one. All right? So, let's do this, all right? So,
Another one.
just placed on a PIP. That is not the right sound for a PIP. The right sound for a PIP is right. And I am terrified.
Bruh.
So this is my first time posting. All right, cool. First question. All right. And I hate that this is my first post. I found out today that I'm being placed on a PIP. Whoa. Says, so for those who don't know, a PIP is a performance improvement plan when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe like if you get caught sleeping on the job, right? Just saying. When you're supposed to be working remotely and they keep catching you sleeping on the job, might get placed on a PIP for that, right? So it says, I've been with my company for 2 years and I love what I do. I love my company. Oh, that is so sweet. Aww. Basically, I was told that it isn't about my actual performance or my work ethic. Oh, interesting. This is based off an automatic IT auditing checking phone login times. I have been full-time work from home position. Oh my goodness, my goodness. They said there have been 7 instances logged since 12/15/2024 until 1/24. So until from December 15, 2024 to January 24th, 2025, where I clocked in and I was not logged into my phone within 8 to 21 minutes of my clock in time. Side note, that sounds like it's exactly a performance issue and a work ethic issue. If you are not logged into your phone for 8 to 21 minutes of your clocking time, that sounds like it is a work ethic and a performance issue, right? I'm just saying, I'm
just being honest.
I'm just being honest, right? It says, so that this spiked a potential time theft threat. Oh my God. Now you're a thief too. All right. It says, and that is the reason for my PIP, my performance improvement plan. My clock in and phone log in times will be closely monitored for the next 60 days. My main question is it true that no matter what a PIP means, you're going to be let go? No. Is there a way to come out of this? I expressed how sorry I was for stealing time, it's time theft, and I had no idea that between clocking in and getting organized with my daily assignments, checking up on email, etc., that there were some days of 15 minute-ish before logging into my phone. Man, you know what? Now you are just gaslighting me.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Don't give me that. So you're telling me you're just sitting around, you know you're supposed to be logged into your phone. You're just sitting around checking your email. If no call comes in, can't you check your email and your daily assignments, and then in between calls coming in or not coming in, you do that? Like, come on. I used to work in a call center. I know how the call center works, all right? And if you start at 7, then you need to be clocked in at 7 on the phone, ready to take calls. So that means you have to get into work at 6:55, 6:50, get your coffee, all that good stuff, get your soda, get your bag of hot Cheetos, whatever you need to get through the day. See, they got me going off. See, I'm sorry. I used to work in a call center, right? So I know how this goes. It says, I assure this will absolutely never happen again, as I will never clock in before logging into my phone ready to go. I wanted to detail how thankful I am for my position here, and I want nothing but to continue to be an asset to the team, not a liability, because it is true. Oh, that's so sweet. I love my job in the company. I was assured that my attitude and work ethic are above and beyond. All right, I don't know who your manager is, but that is total. All right, so I just feel so sad, disappointed, and scared. I'm hoping to hear of PIP success stories, or if I really need to be securing my future and looking elsewhere. All right, so let's do this. All right, let's do this. So let me put up the timer, right? So first thing I'm gonna say, I spoke about a PIP before, right? PIPs are not the end, right? They are a performance improvement plan. And if you were to check off all the boxes that they ask you to check out, then you should be all right. You should be all right. But, it is a tough position to be in. And for over a month, they've been catching you like, it's, oh my God. You should be thankful that they gave you a chance, right? I know some people say once you get on a PIP, it means you're out the door. That is not true, because you can come back, and what is a PIP means that you need to improve your performance. That means you have to go and fix your bad habits, the mistakes that you've been making. That also means you have to fix your bad work ethic, right? Because clocking in and not logging onto your phone, you're supposed to be taking calls, is bad work ethic, right? You know, it is what it is. I
was gonna lie to you, but I had to tell the truth. I'm just being honest.
It's bad performance. Simple as that. I have to tell you the truth, right? Now, you're lucky that they didn't just fire you for pretty much stealing hours. Like let's say for a whole month, right? For 30 days, you took a minimum of 8 minutes, right? So 8 minutes for 30 days, that is 240, right? So that's what it's like 3 hours that you stole. Is my math wrong? No, I don't know. Whatever it is. You stole. Let me do the math, because I'm not going to be embarrassing myself here. Let me see. It's going to be 30 times 8, 240 divided by 60. 4 hours. You stole 4 hours, right? It adds up. And if they didn't stop you, you're going to keep doing it. And you guys know it's wrong. Because when I was in the call center, people used to do it all the time. They would come in, they would clock in, and then they would go to the break room, they'll go to the bathroom, and then they would come back 10 minutes later, and then they start working. And then, because one of my close friends, they used to do the call center operations, they'll be on those. They're like, look, we gotta have a conversation, and then we never saw them again. So you should be grateful that they're giving you a chance, and you can definitely fix it. You can definitely fix it. You know, if you do everything else well, then you only have one thing to fix. You don't have much to worry about, right? You sound like you have remorse for your bad deeds. So definitely fix it. And don't let it happen again. Like, I mean, does anybody believe that they didn't know that it was wrong for them to clock in when you're on the clock, but you're not actually available to take phone calls? Like, anybody believe that? I don't believe it. I don't believe it, but maybe I am less forgiving than other people. I don't know. Maybe I'm jaded. Maybe I've seen too much. Who knows? Maybe it's me. Maybe it is just me.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But that's my thought. Just because you're on a PIP, it is not the end of the world. It is just an opportunity to get better, to hit the ground running. It's a reset and it's a reboot, and they're going to be checking with you on a weekly basis, maybe on a daily basis. They're going to be micromanaging you because you probably deserve to be micromanaged because you were stealing time, and you go from there, right? So that is my thoughts. Let's wrap that question up. Let's get up and out of here for this question. All right, let's go to full screen. And let me get that off. All right, let me check the chat to see what we got going on in the chat. There's been a lot of chats going back and forth. Let me see what's going on here. What is going on in here? So, let's see, where's my mouse? So, let's go to we are like Magnetar said, to assure quality. That's 100% right. He's right. He is right. And it says, wouldn't that be Q? What do you refer to by QSA? What's the S? Help me out, Nigel. What did you mean by QSA? And C Marshall says, good question. And Nigel says that my end game was cybersecurity. Let's see. Prince Marky D says, that sounds dope. Did you try Playwright or Puppet? I have not tried Puppet yet, but I have tried Playwright. Actually, I tried Playwright live on stream on this channel sometime last year. Maybe it was, I think it was last year. This is how crazy I got Prince Marky D. I did Playwright, Selenium, and Cypress all in the same repo at the same time, automating a application that another content creator named Calculus Coder had created. And so, because that way I got some experience with Cypress, I got some experience with Playwright, I got some experience with Selenium inside of, I think we did it with TypeScript, and Playwright was really, really good. Also did the page object model for all three of them as well to get some experience. But yeah, definitely. And Playwright is awesome. Playwright is it's growing. It is growing, I must say. All right. Magnetar says, a side note, there is a sidebar. He says the hiring freeze will not, I repeat, it will not affect the Department of Defense. That makes sense, actually. That makes sense because we need our defense. We need our defense. We need to stay protected. All right. Nightgate says that performance improvement plans aren't scary at all. It's a change to work it out and achieve some goals. You see, thank you, Nightjade. That is what I say as well. I don't think that PIPs are the end of the world. It's just letting you know, hey, you've been messing up. We need to fix some things. So this is what you need to do. And now the choice is yours. Whether, I've seen people come back from a PIP. Not many, but I've seen it, right? And Rod Brown says a PIP, a performance improvement plan, means that you are out the door. Rod Brown, I know God is still working on you, but that, my friend, was not very nourishing, all right? I'm just saying, Rod Brown, I'm just saying. Let me see. Night Jade says, no, it doesn't. Let me make this bigger. Where is that? Says, no, it doesn't. I ended up on a PIP because I was slow. I worked on it, came off the PIP, and got Employee of the Month the next month after. See? Tell him, Night Jade. Tell him. Don't see. Look at Rod Brown trying to burst people's bubble. Who's on the PIPs? It's placed on a PIP for being late. How many times has that person been late? So the thing is, they're not even late. They were not late, Magnetar. They clocked in on the clock, but they did not log into the phones to answer calls. So they're probably like working in a call center or something like that, and they didn't clock in or they didn't log into the phone so calls can start coming to them, right? They were just lollygagging around, checking their email, checking their phone, maybe making a post on TikTok, you know? And then they're like, what is going on? This person's logged in for 8 to 21 minutes for a whole month now, and I get nothing. Like, I know they said that they're sorry and stuff like that, but I think they knew. And I did says, if you don't fix it, you are out the door.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yep. It says, log into your phone, not use your phone. You know what? I haven't used this one in a while. Message. It says, log in at 6:59 and get it going. 100%. So as soon as it hits 7, you're ready or available to take calls, right? So, and if you're going to be late, you better not be clocked in. I've seen people have other people clock in for them, right? Not good. My favorite runner-up always says,
do not come.
All right? I'm just saying. Rod Brown says, I think that you're the exception to the overall sentiment of a PIP because you actually fix the issue. The majority of people get placed on a PIP results in being like, oh. Now, I do agree with that, Rod Brown. The majority of people, because guess what? Want to know why, Rod Brown? You want to know why? Because they don't care. People think that they deserve a job, and then they're gonna be like, did they can you believe they had the audacity to fire me? Like, yeah, because you're supposed to be somewhere, you're supposed to be doing something, and you're not there. So we are losing money on you, so we have to get rid of you. So I agree with that, Rod Brown, but the PIP doesn't mean that you're out the door. You're the one who decides that you're out the door. Now, if it's because you can't figure the thing out and you're just bad at your job, that's one thing. But if it's performance issues like you're late, then there's a solution for that. Leave an hour early. Get there 30 minutes early. Oh, but what am I gonna? I'm wasting half an hour. I'm like, be at your desk. Just be at your desk and be ready to log in, as Night Jade said, right? So you can fix it, as Night Jade said, but as Rod Brown says, most people don't want to. Most people get put on a PIP, they're already 1 foot out the door, right? And they're just waiting to get fired so that they can try to collect some unemployment or something like that, right? So understand. Roxy in the building says, I hated working at the call center. For me, I didn't like it at the time, but because answering calls, you don't know what type of call you're going to get. However, when I look back on it, I actually appreciate it because I learned so many different technical things that I did not learn when I went to school, which I shared you a lot of those technical things last week on Thursday for ethical hacking about NS lookup, ping, whois lookup, all that good stuff, right? But one thing that I also learned was how to think critically by not knowing what the next call is coming in, right? Because I might get a call about somebody who needs help with email. I might get a call with somebody who needs their DNS name updated. I might get a call with somebody who needs to upload their website. I might get a call with somebody who needs to learn how to use FTP or learn how to use an application for web hosting. So I got to deal with a whole bunch of different circumstances, and that's why a lot of times that I'm able to adjust on the fly. And so at the time I didn't like it, but I see a lot of benefits from doing it because dealing with hostile people, dealing with angry people, dealing like so many different things that. All right, I'll tell you a story real quick. I'll tell you a story. I remember a call that I got, right, where this guy signed up for web hosting, and he said, I want a refund. I'm like, for what? And he says, well, I haven't used it. And he said, like, I haven't used it, so I should get a refund. I said, well, not really, because you have the service, you have the space available. He's like, well, if I go to Walmart and I buy, I don't know, a radio, throwing an example out there, and I buy a radio, and I don't use it, I don't open it, and I take it back to Walmart and I return it, they will give me my money back. I said, okay, well, that is, I said, you know what, sir, you are 100% correct. However, don't think of us as Walmart. Think of us as public storage, right? We're more like public storage. We make the space available for you, whether you put your crap in it or not. The space is available, so we're not going to give you a refund. And he says, I want to talk to customer service. I'm like, okay, cool. And I pressed the button to transfer to customer service, and he was off of my plate. What happened after that? I have no idea whatsoever. But that's how thinking on the fly, like, because no one ever gave me the example of public storage. But I said, you know what? There goes an example to break it down to you, easy to understand on why I will not grant you a refund. Maybe customer service might, but you will not get it from me, all right? Not from me, all right? So that was that. Let me see. Nightjade says that it was a call center. I had to get my calls down to average of 295 seconds. I remember those days. Like they would monitor how long you spent on the call, keep it moving. Let's see. they says those call centers don't play. They do not play. They do not play. Let me see. Relay operator was the worst. I was around during the Relay 7-Eleven scams. Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with. Let me see. Anything else? Says gone for, oh my God, gone for 10 minutes. Don't do it. Don't do it, Magnetar. Don't you do it, Magnetar. It says, I had a buddy of mine who worked at Verizon call center, said it was the worst if you weren't on point with your calls. They are strict. They are strict in call centers, all right? It says, I can see you did it a few times. I can see if you did it a few times a month by accident because I have forgotten to go available. That happens, right? You're like, oh, you look like, oh wow, I forgot to go unavailable. But I also I was also not medicated for my ADHD at the time, so I can get it. Time to set timers. And you know what? We need to have solutions for whatever quirks that we have, whatever things that we go through. We still need to be able to operate in the real world. So I like Nightjade's idea of like, hey, if you have this particular problem, use a timer, right? And let's figure it out that way. So totally agree with that. Awesome. Thank you, Nightjade. It says qualified. Qualified. I haven't heard of that role. You know what? Let me write that down. I'm saying every time Nightjade shows up, I get these amazing nuggets. So let me write that down at the bottom of my notes. Qualified security assessor. Perfect. Cool. Thank you, Nightjade. Appreciate it. Let me see what else we got. Let's here. What else do we have? Let's see. We got Alexis in the building. What's up, Alexis? How are you doing tonight? Hopefully you're doing well. It says, or sitting in unavailable status. It's like being permanently away on that is a good point. That is a good point. That is a good point. Let's see. I never want to hear those words out of my mouth again. Let me see. Oh, not you too, Alexis. You got sick too. Oh, that sucks. Everybody's getting sick. Hopefully you get better. It says, what should I take to get over this fast? That is a great question. And Mitch. Oh, okay. I see what it is now, Mitch. So now you're just gonna tag Alexis so people don't think that you're talking about me. I got you. All right, well, I won't say that I'm hurt. Mitch. I will not say that I'm hurt. Okay. So it's okay. And Roxy says, Dayquil and NyQuil if you feel sick. Awesome. Let me see. Magnetar says, before the virus, we had one guy that was on his telework day, but for whatever reason, he showed up to the building and started talking to people. Him and the supervisor got into a shouting match as a result. Well, that's not good. Let me see. Let me see. I think we are good to. Oh, one more. All right. So says, I saw that question as a where in the career roadmap should I be looking to go? Yeah, you could be right. That could be right. I don't know, because like with that though, like I don't know. The reason I didn't see it like that because the reason I didn't see it as like the roadmap is because in QA there's like let's say you start off as a QA specialist. Back in the day, it would be manual tester, but now I think they call it QA specialist. Then you go to QA engineer level 1, level 2. You can go, if they have a level 3, you can go to a senior QA, you can go to a lead QA, you can go to a principal QA, you can go to a staff QA. That's for individual contributors. You can also go to be a QA manager. You could be a senior manager. You can be a director. So I think I took it as the evolution of QA itself as an industry. But yeah, you could I see your point on that too. Let me see. All right, cool, perfect. Oh yeah, turmeric shots are awesome. All right, cool. Let's continue on with the show. Let's get to our next question of the night. Great interactions in the chat. I really appreciate the engagement that we're having. You guys are absolutely amazing. All right, so I got a question from C. Marshall. Let's take this question up real quick. It says, there's been an age-old question if automation will render QA obsolete. Any thoughts? Well, I have a lot of thoughts on that. Let me keep this up real quick. Let's go to that. All right, cool. So let me do this. Let's do it like this, right? Let me do a actual question for this because that's a great question. Let's go to
another one.
So C. Marshall says, there's been an age-old question if automation will render QA obsolete. Any thoughts? So I do have some thoughts on that. Let me start our timer. So I think that when you say QA, the context of QA matters because automation is also part of QA. Now, I think what the question happens is, will manual QA, will manual QA testers become obsolete? And I think that the answer to the manual QA testers is, for the most part, yes, right? I think that if you are in, I think that the way that the industry, the evolution, based on the last question, the evolution of QA is that they're looking for QA engineers, those who can do automation, but they also have the expertise of manual, like the whole, comprehensive QA, the smoke testing, the white box testing, black box testing, regression testing, retesting, all that. They have that foundation, but They also know how to write code. They know how to automate. They know how to do some level of DevOps. They know how to test in the cloud. They know how to like. I'll tell you this, right? I'll tell you this. The work that I do, I'm logging into AWS. I'm looking into different databases. I'm looking into Mongo database. I'm looking into Rabbit queues, SQS. Looking at logging into different EC2 instances, running scripts and stuff like that. I think that the question is, it's not if it's going to render QA obsolete. QA is always going to be around because everything that gets built is going to need testing. The question is, as a person in QA, what value do you bring? What value do you bring? Simple as that. If your value is that you can do manual testing, well, guess what? I have an automation suite that I can write in about a week that will test every single day what it takes you to do manually in a whole month's time. If I give you let me have a book here, right? If I give you a book this thick, right? This thick of test cases, right? That you need to run through. How many of those test cases, or not how many, how long will it take you to run through all those test cases? That's why I say the days of only manual testing is gone. You need to be able to test something manually, write your test cases, write your test scenarios, your test plans, stuff like that. And then you need to be able to automate it so that you can put it on a schedule. So whenever there's a change that happens, you're able to deploy it. You need to know API testing. Depending on your role, you might need to know some performance testing and stuff like that. Like I said, QA will never, ever, ever be obsolete. There's AI that's coming out. Guess what? There needs to be people to test the AI as well. There's so many different industries and realms. I think that what automation does, which is what AI does as well, which is what the cloud does as well, all these advancements in technology, they give you the opportunity to build more. And now when we can build more, that means that more companies are going to be being created, right? There's going to be more tech companies being created, and that's going to allow more QA. There's going to be more things that need to be tested, but it's not that they're not going to be needed to be tested manually. We want to be able to do less, or we want to be able to do more with less. I want to do more with less. So if I can reduce from having 20 QA engineers or 20 QA testers, manual testers that I'm paying, let's say $60,000 a year, right? And I reduce that to 4 QA engineers that can set up my test plans, set up my test cases, test the application, and set up automation. And I pay them, $100,000 a year, right? I am in a much, much, much better spot. More coverage, less issues, defects are caught a lot sooner. So that's why I say that QA itself will never, ever be obsolete. However, the roles in QA are evolving and are shifting based on the growing needs that are happening across software. Like if people think they're just going to stay stagnant, then it's just not going to happen, right? It is just not going to happen. So great question, C. Marshall. Truly, truly appreciate it. All right, we are going to wrap that question up. All right, so let me continue with the chat. Let me see. And Night Jade had some insight as well. Says AI is probably going to do some of that. However, someone will probably have to validate that. I'm guessing anyways. Yep, that's what I was saying. That is totally true. Let's see. It says, I want to say no. That question has been around since I started in QA, which was 25 years ago. Exactly. Now, I'm sure Nigel has seen the changes that's happened in QA, but like I was saying earlier, we used to tell our customers we don't test mobile sites, right? That's what we tell our salespeople. Like they would ask, like, "Hey, do we do QA on mobile?" And we'd say we don't do mobile, right? Until we did mobile, right? So you have to be able to evolve with the times, but QA was always going to be needed because things need to be fixed, right? Um, Nigel says, "I am a cybersecurity engineer now." That is awesome. Let me see. We have health talk going on. Let's see. Alexis, with the name of raw juice and herbs, you should be the one answering these questions. You should be answering these questions. Let's see. Let's see. We got so many health experts in the chat. All right, you guys are good. It says, Nigel says, just like cybersecurity, QA is being treated like stepchildren, redheaded stepchildren at that. Right? It says, the reason why I left that job, the CEO got rid of us. Oh, well, I mean, I guess you left because they got rid of you. I got you. It says, let the developers QA each other's work. What? That is a recipe for, developers hate to do QA. They'll write some unit tests, but even with unit tests being written, there are still a lot of things that are missed. So having developers do QA is a recipe for disaster. Let me see. Let's see. Oh my goodness. We have Twitch side of the game coming in over here. We got my friend Jellybean in the building. Says, I just got back from the gym, winding down for the night. I missed doing oh man, there goes these words I don't know how to pronounce. Calisthenics. Calisthenics. My handstands were on point. Shout out to you, Jellybean. Shout out to you, Jellybean. Hitting the gym, winding down, joining us on the stream. Truly, truly appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
And Mitch, don't think I didn't see your comment, right? Told you Ralph is a hater.
Bruh.
What's what? Why you gotta be like that? Why you gotta be like that? I'm just saying, I just thought raw juice and herbs would know all these little recipes and concoctions to, make you feel better, right? That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying, all right? Let me see. Terrible. I got the worst. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Says that makes sense. And some companies didn't really have a career path. You kind of had to forge your own path. That is true. When I was at the translation company, I had to come up with the title. I had to do research to see, like, because my boss was like, I have no idea what your title is, what your position is. Can you find a title and I'll give it to you? I'm like, all right, cool. I came up with automation engineer, and we've been rocking out with that. All right, so let me see. Because I will always refer to Nurse Roxy. I want a fast fix. Okay, I got you. If you refer to Nurse Roxy to then you are definitely in good hands. All right. Mitch, you remember last time you did this? See, Alexis, don't let Mitch. See, Mitch just wants chaos. It's not. Anyways, let's get to our next question of the night.
Another one.
So we have, what questions do you ask on an interview? Okay, so let's see what this has to say, right? So it says, what questions do you ask on an interview? So I want to ask you
what's this? Oh, it's only money.
What? Shout out to my guy, Magnetar. Let me read that real quick. Magnetar says, where's my screen? Where'd it go? Where did it go? I don't know where it went. says, from Ethical Essentials Committee, tell them the Magnetar sent you. Shout out to my guy, Magnetar. Thank you so much, Magnetar. All right, let's get to this question. So it says, I wanted to ask you about the questions usually asked on the interview. What do you think is important to know? What questions make a good impression? What questions can spot some early red flags? What are you generally curious to know before starting a new job? I usually ask about the team, the test team itself. How many members? Do we collaborate with devs? Other stakeholders? Do we have stand-ups? Other meetings? Technology they use? But I think there's so much more I could ask and either make some extra points or just know more about the company. So I love this question because I always think of what are some important questions to ask, right? So let me start a timer on this one. And I'm going to say this, right? As somebody who interviews people, I'm always looking at what question is being asked to me as well. I want to see that the person asking me the question is actually putting thought into it, because what I don't like when they say, like, when I ask, like, all right, do you have any questions for us? And it says, no questions. I used to do that back in the days myself. That was foolish. You should always have questions to ask the person that's interviewing you, because guess what? That is your opportunity. They might ghost you after that, so you might as well ask some questions. So, when it comes to QA, right? A question that I like to ask is, I like to ask about the technology. So, I would say, what is what framework do you use, right? Do you guys have a custom built framework? Do you guys use an existing framework that you customize? How do you guys do your QA? Another question that I like to ask is, how do you guys perform automation? Do you do it as part of the story, or as part of the dev story, or do you guys follow up the automation work after the fact that the code has been shipped, right? That's very important to know how they work. Another question I like to ask is, like, okay, what challenges do you guys face in QA? It could be, and I want to know, like, what problems are they having? Like, is the problem that, the work is coming in with like last 2 days of the sprint, and we have to scramble and try to get everything done. And now we're getting pressure from the product owner to deploy and stuff like that. I like to ask that question. And another question so this question is not necessarily related to the tech, but I like to ask this question, right? What problems are you looking for me to solve if you hire me? So if you hire me, right, what are you looking for me to fix? What value are you looking for me to add? Maybe in the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, depending on the industry, right? So I like to know that, like, what is why are you hiring me? And they can say, oh, well, we have a gap in this. We like, one of our QA people left, and we're trying to fill this gap, things like that. I want to know, what is it that they're looking for. I also like to ask the question, right? I got this from the book, Never Split the Difference, right? By Chris Voss, ex FBI negotiator. And it says, the person that's interviewing you, right? You ask them, what would you say it takes to be successful here, right? So that way you have them give you the blueprint, and that's a good question to ask to the hiring manager. And that way you follow their guide, you follow their lead, and by you following their lead, then it's going to give you a better opportunity to be successful. So those are some of the questions that I ask. I do like to ask about the team. What is the size? The same question you asked here. Like, what is the size of the team? What's the let me see. What else do I like to ask? So about the software, about how the framework is built. I like to ask, okay, what has been a recent problem that you guys had, and how did you resolve it? You can't even ask, right? Like, how does the agile process work? Does the team work in Kanban? Does the team work does the team work in Scrum? What has been a significant accomplishment that you guys have had in the past, the past quarter? What was your goals for the past quarter as a team? Did you accomplish those goals? Did you miss on those goals? To me, asking those type of questions show that you care about the job, about the company, about the success of the company, because asking about, metrics and goals and stuff like that. So, and the thing is, when it comes to asking questions, you don't have that much time. They might leave it for the last 5 to 10 minutes of the interview, so you might be able to get in 2 to 3 questions. So pick your questions wisely, study the questions, because you want to be able to, the same way that they're interviewing you, you are also interviewing them to see if they are the right fit for you, right? It's not just one way. And a lot of people think, oh, I'm so desperate for a job, it's just one way. No, you have to see if they're the right fit for you as well. So your questions are very, very important. You don't get to ask as many, so you better make them very, very hard hitting and memorable. Because if you ask the right question, they'll be like, oh wow, I remember they told me this, I remember they asked me that. They care, I want to work with them, right? So just putting that out there, right? So let's wrap that question up. And I'm gonna do one more question, chat, and then we're going to see if we have time for our last question. All right, so let's do this one.
Another one.
How to handle a counter offer. Okay, so it says, I want to resign because I have a better job offer around 1.5 times what I make now. What should I do if my boss offers me a better salary? Should I stay in that case? Fair question. Start a timer. So for one, right, take this for what it's worth, right? Because I've known people who have taken a counter offer, they stayed, everything worked out fine. I know people who have taken a counter offer and they stayed and it was night of the living dead for them.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Right? I am of the camp of I do not like to, if I say I'm gone, then for me, I'm gone, right? And I try to go to places where the offer, like 1.5 times more than I'm making now. I try to go to places where it's going to be hard for them to match what I am going to be making, right? So I don't believe in accepting counteroffers because in my mind, I could be totally wrong about this, right? I could be totally wrong about this, but in my mind, I think that you have tainted the work relationship. At the end of the day, it's just business. If you're gonna do a great job, you're gonna do a great job. But they know that, to me, in my mind, they know that you kind of forced them into doing something that they didn't want to do. Because guess what? If you were worth the matching offer or the better salary offer, then guess what? I am of the belief that they would have offered that to you already. They would not wait for somebody to poach you in order to get you to take a counter offer. If they thought you were worth it, they would have gave it to you a long time ago. When it came time for your raise and stuff like that, they would have gave you that counter offer. So I am not one to be caring for counter offers. Also, the other thing that I don't like about the whole counter offers, and I'll tell you a story of what happened to me, right? But I don't like counter offers because I have to go through a whole stressful process of interviewing, multiple rounds of interviews, right? And finally getting to the finish line, getting the offer and getting ready to accept the offer. And then they want to make me a counter offer for a little bit more. It's not going to be like, if it's going to be 2 times what I'm making now, maybe, right? But it's like, if it's 1.5 times what that I'm going to be getting, and now you say, okay, well, we'll give you 1.5 times plus $5, right? I'm like, it's I don't like it because I had to go through the whole exhausting process of interviewing, meeting with the recruiter, like so not even meeting with the recruiter, right? Filling out my resume, filling out or updating my resume, filling out an application, meeting with the recruiter, meeting with the hiring manager, having to get through that, then going through a panel interview, maybe a technical interview first, then a panel interview, maybe a technical project, then have like so many different rounds I have to go to all the way to the finish line. And now you're like, okay, well, guess what? We're just going to offer you some more money. And it's like, for me, I don't like that. So let me tell you the story of what happened, right? Let me tell you the story of what happened. So when I was applying or interviewing for the company that I'm at now, right? Somebody that I used to work with, they were working at this other company and they really, really wanted me to work for their company, but they did not have the hiring power. And I had this like informal, impromptu interview with some guy there who would have been in charge, who was going to be the boss, but they were so adamant about like being in office, asked me if I wanted to move to, God forbid, ATL shoddy. I was like, hell to the nah, I'm not moving to Atlanta, right? But and I was like, and they say, oh, well, we'll see what happens. Let me know how it goes, whatever, right? So I'm going through the whole interview process, and like the day, it had to be the day that I got the actual offer, and I got a text that says, oh, because we can't find somebody, they just opened the position to remote, but there's going to be a bunch of traveling involved and stuff like that. And so I and they had told me like, before you accept any offer, right, let me know. And I said, all right, cool. Out of courtesy, I let them know. I'm like, all right, I'm about to accept this offer. And it says, all right, hold on. And without any interview or anything like that, they said, we want to make you an offer, yada, yada, yada. So that, and I was like, I don't like it. I don't like the way everything played out, where I was like strung along for this whole time, and all of a sudden, you guys are just throwing a last minute dish offer right as I'm about to accept this offer here, So I was like, I'm not doing it, right? So, and turns out it was a good thing, because less than a year later, they got rid of a bunch of the people. Like, they got rid of the position that I was going to be accepting. I'm like, not happening, right? So that is my thing about, and this wasn't a counter offer from a company that I was working for. It was just it was trying to be a competing offer that I was like, nah, I don't want it, because I didn't like the whole way that everything played out, right? So that is my thoughts on the whole counter offer thing. I'm not a fan of it. I know it's worked out for some people. I try to stay away from it. When I say I'm out, that means I am out.
They ain't believing us.
It is what it is. It is what it is, right? Let me, you know what? We got 15 minutes left. Let me take care of the last question, and then we'll spend the rest of the time in the chat, all right? Because I know if I go through the chat now, I am not coming back to the questions, and I do not want my video editor saying, "Hey, what's going on? It's supposed to be 8 questions. You only gave me." Although C. Marshall's question does make 8. It does make 8, but let's do it. We'll have 9 tonight, right? So let's go ahead and get this. Let me wrap this one up. We'll do the last question, and then we'll rock out with the chat, see what the chat is talking about, and we'll have some fun on our way out, all right? So let's go ahead and do the last question of the night.
Another one.
AI is so exhausting, I am out. Whoa, well, that escalated quickly. Right? So it says, okay, not yet. I still have plenty of time before I can afford to shed my golden QA handcuffs. I make $125,000 a year. But between AI making it easier to use our brains less and AI agents products claiming they can do QA, I'm just tired, y'all. Got off a catch-up call with my ex-boss who's now a QA director at a startup where his boss just asked him to axe all QA engineers who don't want to switch to dev, all to try out an AI experiment to see if they can do the job of QA. Dumb leaders. AI making us dumber and more illiterate by the day. I don't know what our brains will look like in 5 years, but even if we're all fine, it's exhausting keeping up with all this and making sense of it. I've only been in QA for 5 years and I've done lots of mentoring and really milked this QA career of mine. Only 5 years and you milked it? All right. Probably more than most 10 plus minus year QA folks do. You know what? You want to go QA for QA? Do you want to go QA for QA? I don't think you don't want these problems. You do not want these problems, right? And it was just fun until right about now. You see, you're a quitter. You are a quitter, right? It says, am I the only one who's tired of all this AI hype and just want to actually do my job? When I get the money, probably when my first employer IPOs soonish, I'm ditching all this tech insanity and starting a local yogurt shop. Well, okay, fair enough. Everyone likes some nice frozen yogurt, so that is a fair transition, I must say. It is a fair transition, right? And maybe you can have AI to take the orders at your yogurt shop, right? But I'm gonna start a timer on this one. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. My thoughts on AI is that I embrace it wholeheartedly. I embrace it so much that in the mornings, I wake up early to start working on my content creation workflow. I even downloaded Olama on my work computer. I installed Anaconda, and I installed Jupyter Notebooks so that I can start saying, how can I start integrating AI and large language models into my workflow? Even considering like, all right, how can I train a model on the context of the applications that we work on and the software of our company so that I can help streamline doing certain tasks that are menial to me. I think the problem with a lot of people is that they love to engage and indulge in the menial tasks and they get some type of pride in that. And they like to push off the meaningful tasks, right? So for me, when you see me like doing all these AI things, it's because if I'm using AI, it's for something that I don't care about, right? I use AI to generate images, to generate to like help me create thumbnails because I am not a graphic designer. I have no desire to be a graphic designer. I am graphically illiterate. I'm graphically illiterate, right? But due to a simple template that I created and a simple prompt that I give, I say, you know what? I need this type of image, right? Give me this, right? And so I'll say I need a person who is working on a computer with a hoodie on, looking like a hacker, and the background has the matrix, and it generates me some nice image ideas, and I take one of those and I put it in my background and I go from there, right? So I think that the same things can be done with QA. Also, another thing that I find useful with the whole AI stuff is, can we use AI to analyze data for our QA metrics? See, for me, I embrace technology. I am not one of those people like, oh my, I got a comment the other day on one of our large language model clips, right? Where the person says AI equals supervision, spying, something like that. So I'm not using it. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, you already did you guys not see the TV show Person of Interest? They've been spying on us forever. Like all those little cameras that they have all over the place, they already see us. So I'm like, you know what? If you're going to be spying on me anyways, I am going to embrace the technology that you're using to spy on me so that I can at least make some money on it, right? Because as the song says, where's my money? You know where my money is? Right now, my money is in AI. So if I have to learn how to use AI to streamline the QA workflow, well, I built a bunch of automation to streamline the manual QA workflow, right? So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm going to say, all right, how can I use AI in QA? How can I use AI in automation? How can I use AI in crunching the numbers and looking at our metrics? How can I say, okay, identifying false positives? Maybe AI, maybe the result can come in and AI takes it and they can go and look at here or there to see what's like, can it sort our results to tell us, okay, which result is something that we need to look into and which result is not true, it's fake, it's a false positive. And then I can spend time finding out if there's a bug that we need to fix or if we need to update our automation. Can AI have self-healing automation tests? So for me, I do not run from technology. I do not run from I embrace it. I know a lot of people are scared of technology. They think that someone's going to be spying on them. They've been spying on you forever, right? They've always been spying on you. Now, are you going to be spied on and broke? Or are you going to be spied on and run up the bag? I choose the latter, of course, right? I choose the latter, but it is what it is. So, but I do think that the yogurt idea is absolutely fascinating as well. If you want to open your yogurt shop, I will be your first customer. Make sure, this is going to be controversial. Make sure you have pistachio flavored frozen yogurt. All right. I'm just saying. And on that note, we have completed all of our questions plus one from C. Marshall tonight. All right, let's wrap that up. All right, so great questions. Let me check the chat before we head out. Great stuff. And I'm gonna read let me take this call. We have a call coming in. All right, so what's up, Rod Brown? Let me add Rod Brown. And give me a second, Robert. Let me get you on screen. Let me get you. Oh my, I'm not gonna bring you on camera because your camera looks way too nice. So I cannot have you up here with me. All right. I had to bring up my guy, Rod Brown. What's up, Rod Brown? How are you doing today?
Doing well. How you doing, man?
I am doing just splendid. Let me just fix my camera real quick. All right, cool. Still not good. Hold on. All right, I'm perfect. All right, I'm good. How about you?
Doing well. So my bad for calling so late.
It's
I did
okay.
have a question about one of your videos, and for those who hadn't seen it yet, I would definitely go check out Tech Coach Ralph's channel. But I was listening to one of your videos earlier today, and you were talking about the reason why people can't find entry-level jobs. And I kind of resonated with that because it was actually hard for me to find my entry level position, even though I, fumbled it and lost, but it was actually hard. So, how do people, especially in the tech world these days, especially with AI being so prevalent, Mitch, relax, with AI being so prevalent, how do people find entry level positions versus going to go work something else? Like how you said, we probably had to work another position in order for us to get some type of work experience, in order for us to get into the position that we want to be in versus just having an entry level position in a place like, say, for instance, cybersecurity or, QA testing or front end web development, having that like entry level, like, hey, just go make some changes on the website and build up your credentials from there. Like, how do people pinpoint that in this particular job market?
Well, it's a lot easier if you have a coach to help you maneuver through that.
See, I set you up. I gave you the alley oop.
Too bad we're too short to be able to catch it and dunk it, but I tried. But the thing is, like I was saying in the video, right? I think that most people are trying to circumvent a lot of the process that it takes to build the experience to get there. Because like even if let's say you go to college for you know computer science, cybersecurity, stuff like
Mhm.
that. And by going to college, a lot of times by going to college, they help you with your certifications. So they point you in the
Mhm.
right direction. They kind of give you some sort of direction. I don't like. I don't. I still think that there's a big gap in college when it comes to the practical experience. But they do try to help with that, like by if you can get internships and stuff like that, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But now, contrast that to someone who's like, all right, I'm gonna go take this boot camp, and now they don't have the education or the experience that's being asked for, and they
Mhm.
want to get an entry level job. The question is, do they deserve that entry level job? That's my first question. Like, why do you deserve it? You know, um, compared to the person who, at least on paper, meets the qualifications that the job is asking for. You know, so that's why, like, a lot of people that I coach, when they if they don't have the traditional education, then it's going to be, are you willing to start off where you can get in, and then, like, so one thing, like, this is something that I thought about a few months ago. I don't know if it would actually work or not, but I'm friends with Joseph from Techniques and Trey from Tech Back Trey, right? And
Mhm. Mhm.
they're both in tech sales.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if your goal is to get into tech, right? Is going to tech sales a potential opportunity that can help you go into different tech spaces? Like, so let's say you took a boot camp for web development, right?
Mhm.
But just because you take a boot camp for web development, when it comes to like actually building an application
Right.
that's not handheld, it's totally,
Yeah.
totally different, right?
It's not handheld, but then at the same time, I think Nightjade makes a good point, that you also work on creating like your GitHub and also like working on your actual living resume, which is true. But then sometimes, that particular resume, even though you're creating that and you're creating practical, steps within that particular time period. Say, for instance, like a year, you just graduated from college. Now you're in a year doing some side projects, doing some stuff while you working at Best Buy or whatever the case may be, in order for you to find that entry level position. Sometimes they still don't even, accept those, even though they know that you're at an entry level position, that you're at an entry level point.
Have you ever interviewed somebody for a job?
Yes. Actually, I had to do one last month.
Did you look at their GitHub?
I did.
How in depth did you look at their GitHub?
Surface level. Just to be honest with you.
Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's
Uh,
important to like have it at in order for you to get familiar with it, right?
mhm,
But me as somebody who's busy all day long, and then
mhm,
when I have to help out with interviews and stuff like that, and I have to, let's say, like, there's been times I had to interview like 6 different people like across like 3 weeks, right?
mhm.
And that means I have to review their technical project. I have to look at their GitHub for that project that we provided them. I am not going and looking around all of their repos and like looking at their code because I
Uh,
I don't have the time. I don't care, right?
it is a lot, but, I glanced at it, I gave it a, A effort type of glance, but at the same
I
time,
don't
I was like,
disagree
"Alright,
with you.
whatever."
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, right? So it's
But
like
it's something though, it's something.
no,
Mhm.
it's better to have it than not to have it,
That's
right?
true. Mhm.
Because somebody might look at it and stuff like that. But my my thing is like, because
Yo, the sign is real simple, B.
we gotta
It
go.
says flip flop.
I'm kidding.
What's up, B?
So my thing with that is that, like, you have to be strategic, right? So one idea that I have is, if you're trying to get a quote unquote entry level job, right?
Mhm.
Well, if I'm not gonna look at your GitHub anyways, right? And now but you get called up for an interview. What are you gonna wow me with?
I'll take it from my experience or even from my interview experience. The only way that I could wow somebody through an actual interview process would be the technical test. if they give you a technical test, for instance, there was a company that I was applying for. They actually hit me with a technical test. I did it, and I guess it kind of, even though my experience was a little bit lacking on paper compared to others, I felt like the technical test was probably my way of showing them, like, with probably like 3 or 4 or 5 developers on the same call. They're all quiet, watching your code while you're sitting there doing everything. So it could be a little nerve wracking, but that's the moment where you can kind of shine to see, A, can you do the work? B, are you teachable? And then C, can you work within a particular element within their environment? So that's just me personally. I feel like I thrive on technical tests.
You want to know what would wow me? So like let's say I'm interviewing you and you say, "Oh, because I didn't look at your GitHub because
Mhm.
like I said, I don't care about
Yeah, I mean, of
some
course.
random
Yeah.
code that you wrote." But let me
Some
ask you a
people
question
some
though.
people don't, but here's the thing, some people barely look at the resumes too. They leave that to the HR people. So,
That's true too. But let me ask. So, what if though something that you have in your GitHub, which I didn't look at, was something that you built and you deployed that actually added value into the world? What if that is highlighting and showcasing your critical thinking skills, your look for value, something that like as it might not be something super huge, but if you have an application out there, especially as like for a software engineer, a web developer, whatever, what if you also um, collaborated with a group of people and you worked in like the agile methodology so that you guys can actually have functioning software where
mhm,
you are actually creating your own experience and you are delivering value to the world where you're showing that you have users, you're showing, oh, this is what this application does, this is the purpose of it, and things like that. And we have 500 users, for instance, right?
mhm,
That is like that's going to wow me. I'm like, oh wow, like that's impressive, that's creative. You are actually doing something that I actually want to see now. And now you have a bunch of talking points on how you created it, the technology behind it. And you know what? Can I see it on GitHub? Like, and you're like, oh no, it's proprietary code. I can't show it. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. You got it. You got it.
right.
You see what I mean? But
But you'll
it's
never
it's
know but you'll never know unless you actually look at the GitHub. So if you're the person that's interviewing and you
you can tell
barely
me.
even look at it, it's just
But you can tell me.
yeah, you can tell somebody within the interview process, but at the same time, it's more of like, all right, well, show me then.
But
Show me.
why would you have your application code on a public GitHub? Because it's my code. Like
Yeah,
like the the
I
the
I
the
would
the, a- the
go ahead.
applications that like that like the time cost calculator.
Mhm.
That's not public code. The
No.
application that I'm building with the Tech Barbarians, that's not public code.
Mhm.
But they are able to leverage that as a actual application that they have worked on, and they go through the whole software development life cycle.
Mhm.
They go through the Git like branching, Docker, all that stuff, right? Which
Yeah.
that is actually giving them practical experience working in that environment. So and that like that's how I see it. That's how I leverage it.
Mm. I don't know, I just think it's hard for people to to even get inside the
I
door
agree.
nowadays.
I
It
agree.
was probably I hate to say it like this, like I'm an old boomer, but back in my day, I think it was a little easier to get into, these entry level positions. But I think it's harder now because I think the entry level position people are requiring a little bit more, even regardless of the experience. I think they're requiring more for you to even get in the door. Outside of that, it's just stay out. So you got to find your way to open the door. But I don't know. I just
Very
thought
true.
I was listening. I was listening to that video today. I found it interesting. So
I agree. No, I agree with you. It is definitely harder,
mhm.
but if there's no doors, then you create your own doors, and you never like. And that's why for me, I'm like, build your own stuff, build your own stuff, build your own stuff,
Mhm.
because that gives you talking points, and you don't know how your thing is going to take off. Because if you solve a problem for you, you're probably solving a problem for a bunch of other people as well,
That's true.
and And that's going to me, I think that's going to make a world of difference. And put it like this, right? On your resume, if on your resume you're highlighting something of value that you've built, it's all about adding value. When when you're making one of your videos, right? What is your goal?
To add value.
There you go. So if
Mhm.
you're able, and that's why I say, like, when you're doing your resume, you want to explicitly show the value that you've added in whatever it is you're doing. So if you don't have that practical experience, well, build something or team up with some people to build something that
Mhm.
adds value, and you can articulate why that's important and who it's adding value to and what type of value that's added to them. And then you also get to talk about how you've actually built it, you know? So for instance, like I'm building the content creation workflow where I can just pass in like I need data for this video about this, right? And it just gives me my title, my description, my keywords, and I'm gonna figure out a way for it to do the thumbnails as well.
Mhm.
That's I need that more than anybody, right? But I'm sure you could use that. I'm sure a bunch of other people could use that, right? And to make it as simple as possible, so I'm like, so now if I build that out and I got people using it, I'm like, oh, on my resume, like, oh, I built this thing, and they're like, oh, how does that work? I'm like, oh, like it does this and this, this. I'm making this much money from it. Da, 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 da,
Mhm.
that's
I mean,
my
that's true.
thoughts
It does
behind it.
it does give you the talking points for interview because honestly, those help. Like I was taught to at least have about 5 talking points for interviews, like problem solving talking points. So when you're walking into an interview, of course they're gonna ask you specific questions, but you also have to correlate those questions with particular problems that you've solved. I mean, and then when you add those on top of those questions, then that kind of puts you higher on the list. So yeah, I get
And
it.
I'm gonna say one more thing, right? A lot of resumes just suck. All right, like that. A lot of resumes just suck, especially if you
Okay.
have no experience. Like, oh, they are so bad. Like they just
Listen,
say,
I've learned recently that my resume sucked too. I actually had to get a professional. I guess one of my friends in real life knows how to write resumes and stuff like that. And I gave it to her, and she looked at it. She was just like, "What is all this design? What is all this? Like, what do you need all this for?" Like, she stripped it down, and I was just like, "I did too much work for nothing." Like, I had like the whole design. It kind of showed that I can do the work and stuff
oh,
like that.
you had like a pretty resume.
Yeah, I had a pretty resume, and they just don't care. Those
As
HR people, they don't care about the pretty resume because sometimes, I mean, honestly, now, and this is a tip for some people who don't know, HR people use AI to scan all the resumes in order to get specific keywords in order for them to say this resume is good or this resume is trash. So sometimes the program that they're using, and I can't tell you what the program is, but I know at my particular job, they use a program, and sometimes pretty resumes, let's call it like that, they don't scan well on those on that particular program. So if you get that X, you're out the door. So
10 years ago, I was told
yep.
by a recruiter, don't put your resume in PDF format because the ATS, the automated tracking system, it has trouble parsing the PDF compared to Word docs. Don't
Mhm.
put all these fancy little things all over. Just have it go from
Yeah.
top to bottom so it can pull it in perfectly clean. And I was like, done. So
Mhm.
I know exactly what
Yep.
you mean. So sorry for your pretty resume.
I've learned. It's okay.
That's what it is. All right. Well, I don't know if you want to stay on while I read the chat, but we're gonna wrap it up after that. Up to you.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll stay
All
on
right.
to see what
It's a lot. It's a
Mitch says
lot though.
about me.
All right. That's fair. Fair enough. Fair. I like that. I like that. All right. Let me see how far back are we. All right. So, let me see. Man, we got a lot to go to. All right. So I think we're here. Nightjade had said. Let me move this over here. Said, is QA included in your development lifecycle? That's a great question to ask. And says, let me see. Magnetar says you could look at the job description and up make up questions on it, even if you know the answer already. That is true.
That's
So
true. Mhm.
I'm going to share a little trick that I used when I'm getting the people that I'm coaching prepared for mock interviews and for their regular interviews. But I say, all right, take the job description, put it in ChatGPT, and say, as the hiring manager for this position, what are some questions that you would ask me, right? And it gives you some questions, like probably 20 questions that you might get asked. And then I also say, what are some questions that I should ask based on this job description? It gives you some questions as well that you should ask, and you pick from some of those. So that's a little trick that I'm going to give. Don't tell anybody about that, Rod Brown with 1D, because I don't want that secret getting out. All right, that's one of the tricks that I use. Let me see. We got. Nigel says that lets you know if you're walking into a mess or not. That is true, but I've been known to walk into some messes by choice. By choice, I find myself in these weird situations sometimes. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Nigel says, don't forget to ask questions about the company. That is true. Let me see. If you have any thoughts on any of this, just jump in. Let me see. Backstar says, so why did y'all have an assault case last month? Who won the fight? C. Marsha says, it's amazing how companies will still undervalue the role of QA from a coding aspect in product delivery. I think my thoughts on companies undervaluing QA, I think that companies undervalue QA is because QA undervalue themselves. God, I don't want to say.
That's
I don't
true.
want to say
That's
this.
true.
I
That's true.
don't
I
want
know
to
you
say
can
this.
go on a rant about that, but
See,
that's
Marshall, don't
true.
make me say this.
Hey, listen,
I
I would
think
say I love my QA. I love my QA person in my job. It makes my life easier, and I can make mistakes, and I just have that person just you know make my life easier, make me look good, right?
I'll say this about QAs. I think a lot of QA people love to complain about being undervalued, and they like to like because I don't want to improve my skill set. I just want to do manual testing, and I'm like, well, what if a change is made and I want to test it? Like, are you going to be available to test it at any given? I want it to be like where I create the stuff that other people run, right? And I can
Mhm.
continue adding to that. So let's say I am the QA person for Rod Brown, right? And I'm like, all right, well, whenever you make an update, Rod Brown, I want you to run these scripts to make sure that whatever you did didn't break the existing stuff,
Right.
right? And then for your new changes, I'm going to test that, and I'm going to add some automation around that as well, so that the developers they can execute and they can know that, oh, I broke something. Let me go and fix that instead of just relying on me to check everything that they did. Like I want to check the new things, and you can make sure that you didn't break any existing things. So,
Mhm.
but I, I
That's
I think
true.
I think a lot of QAs just like to whine. All right. All right. I said it. I said it. All right. See,
All
Marshall's
right.
getting this. See, Marshall, you're
I
getting
might
this.
I might have a rare QA person. I haven't heard him whine yet, so I'm gonna
No,
test him out tomorrow. I'm gonna test
there
him
are
out.
some great QA people, right?
Mhm.
But I would say a good 65 to 85% of them like to whine. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Let's see. It says, is it true that your CEO got caught money laundering? I'm telling you, Magnetar comes with the hard hitting questions. One of my CEOs, they got caught doing something they shouldn't have been doing like a long time ago. They got fired. Let's see. So it says because they want to push a product to meet stupid deadlines, hence why we have video games that like Cyberpunk 207. I have no idea what Cyberpunk 207 is,
It's
but
Cyberpunk 2027. Yeah.
oh, 2020. All right. I
Yeah.
still don't know what that is, but it is what it is. That didn't help me, rapper.
It helped me.
Okay, cool. Says is it isn't like it costs more to fix it the further down the line you go. Who knew? Yeah, the further a bug gets away from development, the more expensive it is. Because as it makes its way to production, then you have to fix stuff in production. It's just a mess. Let's see. Let's see. Uh, Mitch says, Ralph, I told you a lot of times you could be making a lot. Mitch did tell me that. He did tell me that. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see. Nightjade works in vulnerability assessment. Left QA a long time ago. Let me see. Do you watch the rookie? Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We're almost there, Rod Brown. We're almost there. You guys check out The Nourishing Word by Rod Brown. It's a great channel, by the way. Just have to make sure you guys know. Let me see. Chicago PD is back tomorrow, so I will be tuning into Chicago PD. So just making sure you guys know.
Definitely is. Definitely is.
Nightjay says, I have never had a counter offer. I know people use it as a way to get a raise from their company. It's a dangerous game to play. It is a dangerous game to play. Let's see. Magster says, had a negotiation battle with the Naval Research Lab back in late 2015. I didn't get what I asked for, but it was a little more than I expected. That's awesome. I had somebody that I was coaching, right? One of the first people that I was coaching. They wanted to do QA, right? They were doing product management. And here's the thing I was saying about like when you're switching careers, they were doing product management, they were getting paid nicely. But they got frustrated and burnt out because they didn't like the current company that they were in. So they tried to switch without having a job or a backup plan, just trying to live off savings. It was a mess, right? But and then they finally got a job offered as a web developer, but it was a lot less than they were used to. They got a job offer for a product manager position, and they were still thinking like it was for like 20K more. They were still thinking about taking the web development position, and they said, "Oh, I got another offer. They're offering me like 140,000." The company said, "You know what? We can't do 140, but we can do 137." They never looked back at QA or web development again.
Hey, it's like that
It happens.
sometimes.
It
Hey,
happens.
I wonder if Magnetars. I wonder if that position made them go in the office though. But you know, it's cool.
You guys, all right. You guys are gonna stop picking on my friend Magnetar, right? Miss says, "Say yogurt again. Yogurt, 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 yogurt." How do you say it? And Magnetar says, "Did somebody say spy?" Well, you know. And Jellybean says, listening to us all the time. Yep, they're always listening. So let's see. It says, oh my God, get this guy off the screen. Sorry. I didn't see that until now, Mitch, so too late. It says, I can't get at him on his channel because he thinks he's slick, so I'll get him here. I'm going to do the laugh for Rod Brown.
Listen, I love Mitch, man. Mitch is my guy. It's like my second best friend, you know?
Remember, he's your second best friend because I am his first best friend.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Nigel says so an entry level for cybersecurity is becoming a SOC analyst. Yes, I have seen that. So that is definitely true. Let's see. Mitch is always the bad guy. Says you create a public portfolio. People use GitHub as a living resume. If somebody looks at it, right? Jellybean says, I joined my IT student association today and might be running for vice president. What? Shout out to Jellybean running for vice president. I was going to say something, but that's... All right, I'll say it. Hopefully you are a very, very effective vice president. Listen, I'm just saying.
You got it. Don't listen to him. You got it.
Look, not all vice presidents are effective, okay? That's all I'm saying. Okay? All right, so Let's see. So Mitch, let me see. Says on top of esports. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense. It says,
Mhm.
I think now it's harder. It's way harder to get entry level. It is harder because you know what? You want to know why it's harder? I'm gonna tell you why it's harder, right? I'm gonna say the boot camps, they have flooded the market with a bunch of resumes that now these companies have to up the ante because of a lot of bad decisions made in the past how many years, right? All these online
Mhm.
boot camps and stuff like that, where they're giving you these fake websites to do internships on, and they have you put this internship on your resume, and it's like, but you don't know anything, right? So
Right.
now the company they're saying, you know what, they're just going to take less risk because they're going to have to. Do you know how much it costs to hire somebody? It is expensive to hire somebody.
Very
Um,
expensive.
the time that it takes for interviewing people, the research for that, and if you're having to interview multiple people, and then if you actually hire somebody they don't work out, all of that effort that you did went down the drain. So, uh,
Mhm.
I I
And then,
I
and then honestly, just to add on top of that, that's honestly your budget for your particular department as well too.
mhm,
So you have to allocate within your particular department if you want to hire somebody, whether it's entry level, mid level, or experience level, that comes out of the budget for your particular department. So you also have to take that into account as well too. So I'm spending 50 or 60 thousand dollars on bringing somebody in, and they end up being a dud. Like, you know, that's money out of your particular reserves. So
100%. That is totally true. That is totally true. Mitch says, "Would you hire him?" That's specifically to you, Rodron. Would you hire Mitch?
yeah, I'd hire him.
Cool. Perfect.
Mhm.
Mitch actually works for me. He is under a non-compete. He is the VP of data analytics for my company. So, and the only reason that he's a VP, so the non-compete can be enforced because they had
Mhm.
stopped non-competes for anybody lower than VP and C-suite level. So,
Gotcha.
if you
Well,
tried to
then
hire him, I
I
would
I
sue
I
you.
can't hire him. Yeah,
I
I
would sue
can't.
you. So just
Well,
letting you know that. Nigel says also go to hacker cons for cybersecurity. It's it is really a tight knit field. Good point.
mhm.
Nigel has so many secrets and gems. Let's see. Alexa says, speaking of best, oh, this is their show talk. Magnetar says hire him. Um, okay, we got you. We got you.
I would hire Magnetar. He's just got to come in the office.
So, you're so bad. Let's see. We got MB in the building. Says, when I met Coach through Discord last year, he pointed me in Women in Linux direction. At the time, I was a EA to the CTO at DOT. See all these acronyms. I'd be getting lost. But that says a executive assistant to the chief technical officer at the Department of Trade. I remember that MB. I remember that. Says after coming into the space, I created projects. I was able to talk. Look at that. Look at that. See?
Mhm.
Look at that. 100%. Speak spoke about my projects in the interview. In the interview well. Spoke about my project in the interview well and landed my cloud service associates role. You see, look at that. Let me see. Mitch says, those tech tests I don't do. I told Ralph last year. Yeah, he said Mitch says he doesn't do like says you better take me as I am, right? Take
Right.
me as I am.
Hey, those
I
tech
am
tests
not.
can be scary though. It could be scary, but
I like to take home projects. I don't. I'm not a fan of like I don't know. I like to take home projects and explaining what I did. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. MB says, now using this role to work with engineers in the roles I find attractive and catching up on the fundamentals. You see, and that's the strategy, right?
mhm.
Started out as an executive assistant, learned from the CTO, got a job, cloud service associate, now networking with the people. See, and that's to me, that is true networking. It's not the type of networking where you just go to some event where you're sitting in a crowd, where you're sitting with a bunch of people who are looking for the same thing. You're actually sitting and mingling with your competitors, right?
That's
Because
true.
they want the same job that you want, right? But for me, true networking is like actually working with people that you can build stuff, if you can network from within an organization, that to me is true networking, not networking with it with my enemies, right? Because if you have what I want, then you're my enemy, right? Like to put it like to break it down easy, like not like we're gonna kill each other over it, but if I want the same job as you, I'm gonna have to try to do what I can do so I can get it and you don't, right?
That's
So
fair.
so that's why I'm like, that's why for me, I don't really care about those whole networking events and stuff like that because if I have to sit in a room with 5 people on the stage who are making a bunch of money who are employed and the 90% of the room are not employed, I'm like, all right, what am I doing here? What am, so that's just me. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but I that's just me, right? So don't the
I
thoughts that
just
I
don't think
express are
you
not
like
Rod
those
Brown's.
events. You just don't like those events. You just don't like them at all.
You're correct. You're
Yeah,
correct.
exactly.
But
I
I have
see.
reasons for that, all right? I have valid reasons for that, okay? Let me see. Alexa says, so what do you do if they ask you? Mitch says no. Mitch
Do not come.
says no, right? Simple as that. Let me see. There goes, see, Mitch says, I don't do it. Seriously, last year, this startup was trying to have me do one. They came to me. I declined it. I was like 5 times the money, but they want me to do like 8 jobs in one, right? Says you can strip the code for public consumption. I think he's referring to the GitHub for like
Yeah.
you can,
Mhm.
but
You can, but it doesn't function the same at
yeah, and
all.
it's not gonna be it's not gonna be the same. But like I wouldn't mind showing it to them in the interview, like, oh, let me pull up my private GitHub repo and show you what I did.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think I did that as an example. I created like a Discord bot or like a chat bot or something like that within Discord, bouncing off a couple of APIs. But then when you try to strip it to put it on a resume, it just doesn't work the same from presentation perspectives. So
yeah. And I think if your application is viable enough, you don't even need
yeah.
to really show the code. Like you can show the code later on, like these are
Mhm.
like the tech like because if you can explain it like if your application is good, right? And you're using cloud technologies to host it, to run it, you can articulate through that. If you're using containers and stuff like that, if you let's say you're using AWS as your cloud, you're using Route 53, you're explaining how you set up your Route 53, how you set up your load balancers, if you're using Elastic Beanstalk, if you're using Elastic Container Services, all that stuff that if you can explain it and articulate it,
Mhm.
and what you build is actually adding value, the code is an added plus. Because think about it like this, right? Um, have you ever been in like a sprint review?
Yeah.
Right. All right. So
Mhm.
so when you're in this review, you're not looking to like go in depth into the code. You're looking to show the stakeholders like um how does it work? What's the value that it's bringing? You're not trying to show the code. So for me, I'm like, if my application is good enough, I don't really have to go into the details of the code. I can I can
Mhm.
I can explain to you what I did and the technology that's using to power it without having to give you like all the details of the code. I would show it to you as part of like something technical, but I don't think it's really necessary if your application adds value.
No, we normally have from my position, we normally have weekly sprint reviews where it's normally just like okay, where are we on these particular projects? Are we green? Are we yellow? And then are we red? And then explain what's going on, like give an updated status. And if we need particular uh other subject matter experts to jump on this particular project in order for it to get on board, then that's what we do. But we really don't show anything. It's just like explain. Is it good? Great. All right, cool. So
Yeah, most like it depending on the way that the team or company works, but like there's different ways to do sprint reviews. But one thing we
mhm.
we try to avoid is like showing super technical content for stakeholders who might not be that technical. You don't want to lose them. Let's see. Let me see. Uh, Nigel says lots of open source projects that you can jump on to show experience. Yep, and I think all those things are valid as long as you can. I think the most important thing is how do you articulate it? How do you put it into words on your resume to show that
Mhm.
you're doing something valuable? And how do you explain it in an interview to show whatever you're doing is valuable. Let me see. Magnus R asks if you mean about bug bounties. Let's see. Magnus says problem solving talking points. Never thought of it like that. I'm bad with interviews. Well, we're gonna fix that, right? MB says also you can take control of the interview and focus on your projects.
Facts.
Great point.
Facts.
Great point. I mean, something for interviews, right? Whenever they ask you a question, you want to bring it back to whatever you want to talk about, right? You answer their question and then you end it with whatever is important to you, whatever is going to make them remember you, right?
That's
Answer their
true.
questions, but circle it back to something that you did that's important.
You can bring it back to you can bring it back to, like, honestly, you can have one project. Like, if you know that that project is very solid, that one project can have 5 different examples of problem solving examples. So if they ask, because normally one of the questions that a lot of people ask you is, what kind of problems have you faced in your particular position, and how would you solve those problems if you're working within a team? Like, it's something along those lines. Like, they want to know, like, your problem solving particular
Mhm.
skills, and you can literally keep on relating it to the same thing over and over and over and over, so it kind of ingrains into their head, and like, this person knows because they worked on this specific project. So
And Alexa says, I think agree. I think Ralph agrees with that, especially with recruiters. Yeah, Alexis, you know, I agree with that. You know, I agree with that. Let me see. Says, what's the program? We don't believe you if you don't cite your sources, chump. You know, clap it up for Mitch.
can't say.
Let me see what Nightjade says. Nightjade says, for instance, if you want to learn Linux, join their Discord and join the projects. You can document what you have done for said projects. You- Pretty much what Nightjade is saying is, Nightjade is saying you have to work before you have a job. That's. I'm going to break it down. Let me break it down, right? You have to give yourself a job before you actually have the job. The problem is, right? Uh, I'm not working for free. Well, you're working for yourself, and if you're trying to get somewhere, you're gonna have to put in the effort. So, like, you're gonna have to join projects. You're going to have to team up with people and build something significant. Whether, like, join. 100% agree with you, Nightjade. 100%. We're almost there. We're almost there, right, Brown? We're almost there. Let's see. I don't know about that. QA is seen as a nuisance, not a benefit.
I
Well,
disagree. I disagree. I
no.
love my QA person. I love it.
Some companies, she's
Mhm.
right for some companies. Some companies, like, at least, I'm not gonna say companies. I say some teams. Some
Mhm.
teams, they love their QA. They work closely together. Other teams, like, oh, it's annoying. Like, why do you keep finding bugs and stuff like that? Because I'm trying to protect the company. I will say though that, like, I think QA does need to do a better job in articulating the value that they bring. Like, so if you find a bug, a defect,
Mhm.
right? You need to put a cost to finding that defect. And if it wasn't caught, the level of impact that it would have on the company, on the company's money, their
Mhm.
reputation, their brand. So I just think that QA needs to do a better job of advocating for their, like, of showing the value that they bring. A lot of times, like, oh, I'm just gonna come in at the end and test it. No, I think QA needs to be involved. And I think, to Nightjade's point, I think that one of the reasons that QA is seen as a nuisance is because they only show up after the fact instead of being active in the beginning. So for me, like, for the past 10 years working in QA, I am part of the process at the very beginning. And I'm like, all right, so what about these risks? Okay, what about doing it this way? How about the user experience that way? Contributing to the whole process of building the application instead of just coming at the end and then pooping all over what everyone has. And I think that's part of the reason why they're seen as a nuisance, because a lot of times they come in at the end and they just poop on everything instead of joining at the
Mhm.
beginning and giving insight to how to make the best application and how to reduce the possibilities of having bugs So I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, that's fair.
Seating
That's
queuing.
fair.
Let's see. Alexis is getting high off NyQuil, so go to bed, Alexis. Be careful. It says just like a compliance test isn't a security test. Fair, that's a good point. Let me see. Which is so funny. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. What, are you what did I ever say something I disagreed with, Jane? So funny. So funny. Jane, that's too lazy for that. That's hilarious. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. We're almost there. Almost there. May said he doesn't know how to fight anymore. He's probably scared of you because he heard that you were in the. He's probably saw your video. Your what was the name of the video with you follow Jesus' morning routine and
My
he saw you
morning
lift.
routine. Yeah.
He saw you lifting the weights. You guys go check out that video by the way. That was pretty cool. But
Hey, that was the warm up set.
did you wake up at 5 this morning?
This morning, 5:30.
Fair enough. Fair
Oh,
enough.
5:30. Yeah, yeah.
Tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I'm gonna do 5 tomorrow morning.
All right, there you go. There. Just making sure.
Yeah,
Just making sure. Gotta keep you accountable. Gotta keep you accountable.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. I appreciate
But
that.
well, yeah, I think he hung up the boxing gloves because he saw you doing those squats and he was like, I don't want none of that. I don't want no problems, right? Let's see. Your level sounds complicated. What are you talking? I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about, Magnetar. We're almost there. Almost there. Almost there. It says I wasn't asking Rod Brown because I knew he would say that. Talking about when he asked if you'd hire him.
As long as he knows. That's as long as he knows.
And Nightjade says exactly to MB. You mentioned those projects during the job interview. It can be included in your portfolio. That's a fact. HackerCons aren't like that. Let me see. Rod Brown, I just went fully remote in the last 3 weeks. Well, Mitch, you do not work for the federal government, so you don't apply to Rod Brown's
You
snarky
really don't.
remarks. Rod Brown, you're not being very nourishing right now. Just saying.
What? I'm just saying, like, if you're federal worker, you got to get back in the office.
You're
Like,
not being very nourishing right now. And it says, Are we an effective team? Let's see. At DEF CON in Las Vegas, Capital One took a bunch of us out for a hiring event. It was dinner and drinks at a speakeasy. That sounds fun. That sounds fun.
yeah.
I probably wouldn't be there, but that sounds fun. Let's see. Actually, I'm traveling and I'm traveling in the next couple of months for work. So let's see.
That's rare.
It is rare. It is rare. It is rare. I show my private repos. I just came from a 2-month job search, and a repo is now standard for me. It is so competitive out there. That is true. That is true, Pittsburgh D. And yeah, like I would show the company my private repo, but I'm not just gonna have a private repo so anybody on GitHub can
No,
see
you're
it.
not gonna like post it on your website or your resume website. Like,
Yeah,
that's something like if
exactly.
you walk into an interview and you pull up your private repo, yeah, that's cool. So
Michael says, so say to the interviewer, wait a minute, let me finish. Like, don't cut me off. Don't cut me off. I'm speaking, all right? I'm speaking. It says, when I worked on a project for the Linux Foundation, I headed up a 3-man team whose goal was to do X. I was able to discuss the project. Awesome.
Night Jay, can I come work for you? Like, please?
I'll tell you, Nightjade is a gem. I'm telling you. Says, remember the company I worked for sacked the entire bug team and let the devs do it. That's a disaster. Don't do that. Your bug is holding up my project release. That's true. Let me see. Almost there. DB Darrow says, let him fight. Let him fight. Says, and I just says, it's insane that people aren't taking those opportunities. It is pure laziness. And that's the end of
Can't
it.
be lazy. Can't be lazy.
Yeah. I'm saying when I'll tell you this, right? In at the end of what year? We're in 2025 right now. 2024 was last year. 2023. Oh, I'm almost at 2 years at my job. So at the end of 2022, the company that I was working at, they like shut down, right?
Mhm.
And so like December 31st was the last day. So in January, I set up a calendar like I was still at work, like learning new things, practicing stuff, having everything scheduled and everything like that. And um and I was like within that month, I got another offer. And the other offer that I was talking about earlier. Actually I had like three different offers were gonna come in, but I was like, I'm gonna go with this company because it was fun. Um so it's like, but you have to work. You have to work, and you gotta do what you gotta do. Like no one is coming to save you. No one is going to give you anything. All right. So
Nope,
you gotta get out there and
not
get
at
it.
all.
You gotta get out there and get it, all right? Let me see. Now it just says maybe it's different in the non-cybersecurity world. Nope, it's the same thing. It is the same thing. It says, or wait, it isn't a bug, it's a feature. And on that note, we are going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you so much, Rod Brown, for coming up. Any final words before we head out?
It's not a bug. It's a feature. Appreciate
I have
that,
a
Night
question for you.
J.
I have a question for
That's it.
you,
Mhm.
Rod Brown. Do you like how I have been looking into the camera this whole time talking to you?
I do. I do. I like that improvement. I think you should keep that.
I
I
am keeping
think you
that.
should
I'm
keep
keeping
it.
that.
All right.
I'm keeping that. I just had to fight with all my stands and stuff like that. But I
Mm,
like it though. I like it. So we're on the move.
yeah.
All right, Brown. Thank you so much for calling in. Always a pleasure to have you hanging out with me. Uh, good luck waking up at 5. I will
All right.
be live tomorrow after you're done with your run at 7:30ish, so that we can talk about large language models. So looking forward to seeing you there. Night
Looking
Jade is
forward.
saying she's gonna shut up now. You don't have you never have to shut up. You're always welcome here, Night Jade. Right. By the way, the Abandoned album is coming out on February 14th for Valentine's Day. It is already approved and it's already accepted in all the stores, but it's going to be available at
We'll be
midnight
downloading. We'll
Valentine's
be
Day.
downloading. Yep.
So we are going to have it's his like I am so impressed by that album. Like the people who have heard it before already, they're like, "Wow, that is a serious album." All right, so
Mm.
get ready for it. Get ready for it. All right,
I'm ready.
Rod Brown. Thank you so much. You have
All right.
a great and wonderful night. Take care.
Y'all take care.
All right, that's it for tonight. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I've been up since like 4:30. We've got to go. Let me check out Magnetar real quick. Magnetar says, yes, telework is the future. All other sentiments are classified as asinine. Fair enough. And C. Marshall says, catch up with y'all later. Thank you so much for tuning in, C. Marshall. Always a pleasure to have you around. And it says, don't be scared of the fortune. All right. So on our way out, my question to you is, did you guys have fun? Did you have a good time?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to head out. But you guys know that yesterday's price is not today's price. Today's price is certainly not tomorrow's price, because
one more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick is always going up. And we have my guy, Rod Brown. The nourishing word says, appreciate everyone. We appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed to Rod Brown's channel yet, please go and do that now. Amazing content, I must say. Can I get this? Let me see. Let me see. I don't know. Anyways, you guys have a good night. I am out. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
They said I wouldn't make it, they laughed at my dream. Every move I made felt like swimming upstream. But yesterday I met a fan, eyes full of belief. In their gaze I saw the end to my grief.
Doubt didn't win, trust began. Looked in the mirror, saw my biggest fan. Heart beats like a drum, fight through the span. Kept on pushing, now I'm the man.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I saw myself alive. I put in all the hours, climbed out from the dirt. They dissed and dismissed, said I'd always get hurt. Met a fan so loyal, reflections don't lie. My biggest supporter is just me in my mind.
Through the noise and shadows I held my ground. Bumps, bruises, broken, no comfort found. But that fan smile turned my world around. Now I'm rising sky high above the sound.
Doubt didn't win and trust I began. When I looked in the mirror, saw my biggest fan. Heart beats like a drum, fight through the span. Kept on pushing, now I'm the man.
From the ashes I flew, they can't dim my flame. Every mocking voice only fed my aim. Yesterday showed me it's not just a game. 'Cause in my reflection I found my name.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I'm the man.
From the ashes I flew, they can't dim my flame. Every mocking voice only fed my aim. Yesterday showed me it's not just a game. 'Cause in my reflection I found my name.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I'm the man.
Now they see that I was right, us right. Ooh, I stood my ground in every fight. Told them once and told them twice. Guess it took the burn to open eyes.
They advocated for the wrong side, ignored the truth that I could not